Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. So good to be with you. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you do, remember this. All 3 hours of the program posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. And that is all brought to you with limited commercial interruption. Thanks to the fine folks at Southland Commercial, SVN, and our good friend Carlton Dean. CarltonDean.com to learn more about making money, income-producing properties, commercial real estate. That's where you want to be. Email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. Thanks for the follow. And the WTSM app, working nicely with your mobile devices. Doesn't matter if you have an iPhone or an Android, you are good to go. You can email us, jcs@979espnradio.com. And you can watch us now, too, on YouTube. Type in ESPN Tallahassee, and you'll find us. So a plethora of ways in which you can be connected to the program. Although I will say, and it's probably not the wisest move, but we don't always follow the rules specifically. And it's not our fault this time, so I can't blame anybody that's here local. But, the website I tweeted out, ESPN Tallahassee tweeted out, see, we care about you, that the website's got some issues due to Triton. That's the national web people. They've screwed it up.
Apparently the servers are down, but the stream service, the WTSM app, all the ways that, if you bookmarked it, you're fine for the direct link.
Everybody's still listening, Tom. I just want the frustrated guy to know maybe he's tuned it in on his radio, the actual radio, which thousands and thousands of people listen to every day. And sometimes in our efforts to reach out in all the other mediums, we forget to say thanks to all the people listening on the radio. But I would say that, that guy could tell one of those frustrated people, the web's not working. Oh, yeah, I was just listening. Here's why. Here's what you can do.
Just go to the Facebook page or the Twitter feed. You got it.
Forget about it. Good stuff. You know what else is good stuff? And we touched on it some yesterday. And obviously the way the show worked yesterday, we did that hour. I had Mike Martin Jr. on. It was a great conversation. I want to promote that too because I thought it was a good, solid interview and an honest dialogue between two guys talking Seminole baseball. And, we obviously disagreed on some things over the course of the year, and that was voiced yesterday. But I also thought it was insightful. I think Mike Martin Jr. did a very good job of kind of explaining their mindset for much of the season while all these really infinitely frustrating things were happening, causing them to lose series after series, which I duly documented on a daily basis, much to his chagrin. But why that was happening and what was so frustrating about it and how difficult it was to stay the course. And they did. And, I'm just glad they were rewarded for it because sometimes you do that because you believe it's the right thing. And the factors that are weighing heavy week in and week out on your success rate or lack thereof in a given series don't get back aligned in time. And they did. And for me, I will just say, as somebody who calls Tallahassee home and loves Tallahassee, Florida, this is a big part of what we do locally, this tradition of hosting regionals. And when that was in jeopardy, when it looked like they weren't going to be hosting, period, I have to confess, Tom, and I didn't really talk about it all that much on the air, it bothered me to no end because we're spoiled. I've grown so accustomed to going over to Dick Howser Stadium, godforsaken heat this time of year, most years that we've hosted regionals, certainly by the time you get to supers, But I have some of my most fond memories, I should say, sitting in that ballpark watching riveting college baseball at its highest level and a lot on the line and feeling the weight of those moments and the joy of those moments when they came through. And the thought that wasn't going to happen at any point, even for what we would used to call a sub-regional, began to really bother me the closer we got to it. And it's a good thing that the month of May turned out to be a 12-2 month for Florida State with some monumental victories that turned it all around, as we well know. And now here we sit a couple days away as a community getting ready to go over there to Dick Howser Stadium to watch some Florida State baseball.
Well, yeah, damn near literally the entire time you've been here in Tallahassee have we hosted a regional, sub-regional, whatever it's called. It's our 34th time hosting. That's 4 more years than I've been alive. So, yes, it's something that we're spoiled with, but it's something that rightfully we should expect given what the standard of the program is.
And that was a big part of yesterday's conversation was you're not a victim of your success. You're held to that standard once you set it.
Thought it was interesting, too, because I was there in the right field bleachers, but 8 years ago, I was still a student here at Florida State, and that was the Sean Gilmartin team. He was the freshman who was, taking over Friday nights, and we beat Ohio State like a drum. 8 years ago today, 30-plus runs in a regional game. 30-plus runs, one of the more memorable moments in Dick Howser Stadium in the postseason.
I left that game.
Me too.
I left that game, I think, right around the time we had 16 or 17 runs, and I thought, this is crazy. Georgia was a part of that regional, too, as I recall. And I just remember thinking that this is absurd. This is where college baseball jumps the shark, where you have these kinds of games where, and it doesn't happen much anymore because of the adjustments they've made in the college game to make it much more aligned with professional baseball, at least in terms of the way the ball flies and the bats and all that good stuff. But there was a time where you could beat people 35-5 in a baseball game, and it didn't resemble anything like the kind of brand or baseball we enjoy. And I just thought, well, this team made the postseason, and they're getting beat like this. But, yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. These years begin to blend together. It's funny, you specify one like that, and you say that was 8 years ago, and it feels like it was 5 years ago. And there are moments when I get into these conversations, the larger college baseball conversation, Florida State baseball hosting regionals, and we'll reference a player, we'll reference a moment, a big win, a crushing loss, whatever it might be. And in the course of that conversation, in my mind, of course, this happens a lot as you get older, in my mind, it was not all that long ago. And somebody will rightfully, a lot of times I'll be talking with Eric Llewellyn or somebody like that, and they'll say, well, that was 1998. and that's hard for me to fathom that I've been on the air that long, talking about Florida State baseball, covering this program, covering this team, interviewing players, talking to coaches, and obviously being in the press box and or the stands for these games for that long, and prior to that as a student. And so it's remarkable that much time has passed, but it is something that I absolutely cherish. And, every year we say, will this be the one? And bringing it back to modern day, and here we sit now, in the most improbable of ways, we sit and ask again, a couple days removed from this first game, is this the year? Todd Walker of Major League Baseball fame, I should say. I think that's fair to say. Todd Walker played for over a decade in the major leagues. He's going to join us on the program tomorrow afternoon, and we look forward to talking with him. He's got the call. He's the analyst for this regional, and I'm hoping to talk with Todd not just about what he sees in the regional, but also about his major league career, because as you guys know, if you're a listener to the show, we're big-time baseball fans, and I remember his time at LSU.
LSU guy, he won the Outstanding Player of the College World Series in 1993, I think it was, just doing a quick bio on him. But then now he works for the SEC Network. So he should have good insight, especially on Auburn, as he comes in and gets a crash course on UCF, Florida State, Tennessee Tech. But, yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I looked through his Baseball Reference stuff today as well. And he played in the game that I went to, probably the most famous game I've ever been to, across, big sports, professional sports.
Red Sox-Yankees?
Red Sox-Yankees 2003, the game that Aaron Boone hit the walk-off in the 11th inning, I think it was. But he was playing for the Red Sox that year, and he had a killer postseason. That year, he had 310, 320 in the postseason.
He was good for them, yeah.
5 home runs in just 2 series. They played Oakland in the division series, and then, of course, they went the distance with the Yankees. I don't know if you're going to ask him about what he thinks about Grady Little or not, and whether or not he should have taken out Pedro, but he was not a reason for Red Sox fans to walk away angry that year. He was very much a part of their success.
He had a great career. I want to talk to him about playing with Barry Larkin, et cetera, but we'll get into all of that and talk with him moving forward. I look forward to his commentary on the regional. We hope to talk to, obviously, Eric Llewellyn, play-by-play for Florida State on Friday in the build-up towards Florida State's first game against Tennessee's Tech. More on that series, more on the regional in a bit. At least now we're actually moving towards the NBA getting started again, and we can get these finals underway. I actually am excited about the finals. I've said since before the playoffs began a year ago that basically – we were all waiting on this series, and to be sure, it felt like it would be a great series once it started, but don't expect me on a week-to-week basis in the build-up to this series, which we all knew was coming, and that's part of the problem with the lack of competitive balance in the NBA. Don't expect me to really worry too much about what happens in the in-between, because that is just fodder for people to yell at each other about something that doesn't matter and is not going to have an impact. And unless we were on the cusp of something that we thought might be impactful to this series, I was going to largely ignore those red herrings that don't matter.
You were joking about, you said that a year ago when the playoffs began, but literally you did a year ago when the playoffs began. You said the same thing.
Yes.
That we're all just waiting for Cleveland and Golden State. And thankfully, it's a great chess match, and it's involving a ton of great players. It's not as organic as it once was.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
But it's going to be a blast. And I think the important thing, again, is to remember that Cleveland is the defending champion here, and that they know.
And they're given no shot.
Correct. And they know what it takes. They were given no shot last year, down 3-1. You know, let's not forget that. Golden State was up 3-1. Then you get a suspension. Draymond Green has to sit out a game. Then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they figured out what Golden State does, and nobody's giving them a chance again this year? Where were we in Game 5 of the NBA Finals last year, giving them no chance?
Well, that was a team without Kevin Durant, and they will say that great team that won 73 games, that didn't cash in the chips and become the greatest team of all time, didn't have Kevin Durant and now does, and that this is a team that could have also won 73-plus games had they chose to do so this year, and they've added one of the best players in the world to a group that was already dominant.
Klay Thompson is a ticking time bomb, and he can go 8 for 10 from beyond the arc at any moment, and that's what made him a splash brother from the early going. But honestly, Kevin Love hasn't played as well as he's playing right now. Kyrie Irving looks like a superstar who is almost ready to sit on a level with LeBron James.
Yeah.
You know, given that LeBron is on the downside of his career, there are moments when, 13-16, when LeBron's sitting on the bench in the last series.
What I'm saying is, we've been talking about LeBron's old legs for 2 years.
Sure.
I'm done with it. He's the best player in the world. It's really not all that close. And whenever he decides to play really well, you see it again. You're reminded.
That's why I said almost ready. I'm not saying he's ready to stand toe-to-toe.
Well, he's a great player in his own right, yeah.
And there's the validation of having done it before. You know that you've done it. You know that you've done it against most of these players. I get you. Kevin Durant is the superstar who replaced Harrison Barnes. That is an upgrade. That year to year, that is an absolute upgrade.
Slightly.
There's only one basketball, and he also blew a 3-1 series lead last year in the West Finals. Let Cleveland win Game 1, and let's see what everything and everybody talks about and what it all sounds like. Because if they see that they're capable of losing again, like they were for 3 quarters against San Antonio when Kawhi Leonard was going off, and that's a far less talented team than the Cleveland one that Golden State's about to play, and then they combine that with the mental image of what happened last year in the finals, let's see what happens then.
Well, it sounds like we're both rooting for it. I can tell you that. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious we're both pulling for Cleveland, and I think Cleveland is the overwhelming fan favorite for that reason, and that it feels like what Golden State did was put together an all-star team, and for many, the idea that Kevin Durant walked away from the team that was up 3-1 and blew the lead and then tucked his tail and ran for a safer shore is the easy way out, and nobody wants to see that rewarded. If you disagree with that and think it's entirely unfair to label it as such, that's fine. We disagree. I'm rooting for Cleveland almost for that reason. But beyond that, and we have plenty of time to talk NBA Finals, it should be noted, and because we're both baseball guys, I want to talk about another incredible player who's going into the Hall of Fame. Are you aware, because it's happened really, really quietly, partly because a number of things have happened in baseball over the last 2 days to overshadow it to some extent, but Albert Pujols hit a 3-run home run on Tuesday, which gave him 599 for his career. Now, think where he's about to be. I'll get into some of those numbers for those that have hit 600 home runs in his place. And I want to ask you a question. I want to kind of just posit this to everybody listening about exactly what do we think about Albert Pujols, aside from the fact that he might be 57 years old. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Of $500 to $1,000 along with 0% interest for 72 months on 11 models. This is our biggest sale of the year with up to $3,000 off Versa, Sentra, and Frontier. Up to $4,000 off the best-selling Rogue. $5,000 off Muranos. Up to $6,000 off Altimas and $7,000 off Maximas. Plus, trade in your Toyota or Honda and receive an additional $1,000 on your trade. And in honor of our veterans and Memorial Day, Kraft Nissan has a military program that gives you our best price plus an additional $500, $750, or $1,000, depending on the model you choose. Finally, let Kraft Nissan add to your summer fun with a free 5-day, 4-night cruise for two with any purchase. And as always, Kraft Nissan's exclusive free lifetime warranty on every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles. Tallahassee is officially a Nissan town because Kraft Nissan gives you more value for your dollar. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Allergy sufferers, my name's Nigel, and as a well-educated owl, I know the difference between what's wise and unwise. Texting after 3 glasses of Merlot? Unwise. Using new Zysol for 24-hour relief of your allergy symptoms? Quite wise. Because Zysol is just as effective at hour 24 as it is at hour 1, relieving your symptoms for a better night's sleep and a more productive day. So for continuous 24-hour allergy relief, don't be unwise. Be wise all. Take new Zysol. Use as directed.
Hi, this is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. If you're an entrepreneur, you have better things to do than reapply for funding every time you need capital. With Cabbage, you can be approved for a line of credit of up to $150,000, not just a one-time loan. Withdraw from your line anytime you need funds and only pay for what you take. Cabbage has helped over 100,000 businesses with more than $3 billion in funding. Go to Kabbage.com/radio or call 888-CABBAGE. That's Cabbage with a K, KABBAGE.com/radio.
What is today? Today's the day you do absolutely nothing. Put it on silent nothing, because you aren't one to let chore time get in the way of your time. And that's why you use Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. Save 20% on all Echo Pro Grade string trimmers, chainsaws, and blowers during the Echo One-Day Sales Event, and take the hassle out of yard work.
Don't miss the Echo One-Day Sales Event this Saturday from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. at TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to the Dairy Queen in Thomasville.
Geez, dude, you need to change your blinker fluid.
That's not a thing.
And your thoracic couplet is totally shot.
Really?
It is.
Look, nothing gets by me. Just like this oil filter. Nothing gets by Purolator.
Hey, if you're using Purolator Boss, you know your stuff.
Oh yeah, protection up to 15,000 miles.
Ooh, but you really should replace your Vesuvius valve.
Stop talking.
Purolator oil, air, and cabin air filters. Nothing gets by us. Available at Advance Auto Parts, Pep Boys, and other fine retailers.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. 599 home runs, real quick. Albert Pujols, putting him in line to be the first player to reach 600 home runs since. Can you name the other? Last one?
The last one was...
I bet you get it. Think about it for a second.
A-Rod?
Nope.
Jim Thome?
Yep.
Okay.
2011, I saw Jim Thome hit a home run at Target Field up in Minneapolis at a game I was at. I think his 598th I saw. Little oddity there. I think I've seen some pretty insignificant home runs, ones that aren't talked about, but they're right before, like the penultimate home run before the major conquest. I saw Eddie Murray hit like his 399th homer. I was in the stands for that, and then the next day he hit like 400. I went, God damn it. And then I saw Jim Thome hit his 598th and 599th, and within a week he hit his 600th. Well, at least I was in the stands for those ones that we don't talk about.
And that was a now damn it, folks, just in case.
Yeah, I did say now damn it.
Yeah.
That was in 2011. The 6-year gap between Thome and Pujols attaining 600 will be the longest between two players reaching 600 home runs since the 31-year gap. So things have changed in baseball. There was a 31-year gap between the year that Hank Aaron hit his 600th home run. You know what year that was, Tom Lang? Put you on the spot right there,
Hank Aaron
buddy.
hit his 600th home run in 1972.
Good guess. 1971, the year I was born. No, I didn't see Aaron's 600th home run.
What day of what month in 1971?
April of 1971 is when he did it.
I'll talk about your birthday.
Oh, June. June is almost here. That is the month of my birthday. Barry Bonds did it 31 years later in August of 2002. So there's that. And the 600 home run club, I do this every time somebody comes to a number that is this magnificent, because you're reminded of the steroid era, and you're reminded of some of the cheapening of the home run, but you're also reminded of what some of the accomplishments that came in yesteryear were and what that looked like and how many at-bats it took certain people to do it. Babe Ruth has obviously got 600 home runs. It took him, he did that at the age of 36, by the way, and he had 6,919 ABs at that point. He is far and away the fastest and the fewest at-bats to ever reach 600 home runs at the age of 36 and 6,919 at-bats. In fact, nobody's even close. I mean, it's not even remotely close. Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, A-Rod, Griffey Jr., all with 8,000, in some cases 9,000 plus ABs before they got there. Willie Mays, who many think you could make a case for as the greatest player of all time, all-around player. It took him 9,514 at-bats to do it. Hank Aaron, who is in the eyes of many still the all-time home run leader.
Sure,
It took him 10,009 ABs to do it.
That's because he was Mr. Consistency. He never had a 50 home run year.
No, he didn't go crazy. He just produced year in and year out. Steady Eddie. Thome, it took over 8,000 at-bats. Albert Pujols, who's 37 years old, allegedly, has 9,327 ABs to his credit up to this point. But that's a pretty amazing group of all-time greats. Again, Ruth, Bonds, Sosa, right, Rodriguez, Griffey Jr., I think we think that was on the up and up.
Yes, I think so.
I'm just as a little poll here. We're just trying to figure out, like a little tester. We think Griffey's yes. A-Rod definitely no. Bonds we know no. So we know no. Not that we don't know. We do know. We know no. Sosa definitely a no. But Willie Mays legit. Yep. Aaron legit. Yep. Thome don't know. Don't know. I think we're inclined to say probably legit, but don't.
It's hard to say.
It's a toughie.
You can only protect by a white guy and country strong so long.
Well, it's just weird. I'm always on the fence with Tomei because he's a monster of a man, and he was very consistent, and he didn't have any cartoonish seasons where you go, well, good Lord, sir, you hit 68 home runs, did you?
But he wore shirts like Hal Sutton did when he won the Players' Championship, super baggy.
Big country boy who hit the ball a mile from the day he got into the majors. He didn't have some transformation like Sosa, who went from 170 pounds to hulking, hitting, these guys, Barry Bonds changed. He added a whole nother Barry Bonds to Barry Bonds.
He went from Kenny Lofton to, 2002 Barry Bonds.
That's why you're not sure, right? Like Griffey didn't get appreciably bigger.
No, he just got fat towards the end.
He
got a little chunky.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you see a guy like Tomei or you see a guy like Griffey, you go, well, I don't know. He kind of looked the same just about his whole time in the league. He always hit for power. There weren't any of these crazy seasons where we're like, what the hell is that? Dude went from 20 home runs to 59. That's,
Always had an idea how to get it over the fence. The two of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
different ways. One with a beautiful stroke, one with a thunderous hack, but yes.
I'm always reminded, too, that is, in reality, kind of the tragedy of the steroid era, is that everybody is now kind of painted with that brush. There's a dark cloud over anybody who achieves elite-level success, in this case, hitting the long ball. Albert Pujols is not out from under that shadow either. To this day, many years removed from the quote-unquote steroid era as it's defined, Albert Pujols has never been busted, never been suspended, has always maintained that he's been on the up and up. He, too, has never had a crazy season, and yet we look at Albert Pujols about to hit 600 home runs, and we say, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's legit, not real sure. And that would drive me nuts. If you're a guy who did it right, never cheated, worked your ass off, and hit 600 home runs, something that even within the steroid era has seldom been done. Again, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. He's about to be the 9th all time to ever do it. They've been playing baseball forever, and it's still an elite group. If you were to reach that group and you not get the rightful credit for your accomplishment, that would be, I guess you just have to tune it out. I always talk about that, just tuning it out, but it seems that would be very difficult to know that hung over your head, that cloud of suspicion.
When we talked about the Matt Harvey situation and how columnists around the game who are considered nice guys and protectors of the game were coming out harshly against him, that meant that there was a no holds barred attitude behind the scenes, though. So Scott Boras, the agent, whomever involved with this guy, said, go ahead, rip him. He deserves it.
Yeah, not a good guy. Right.
In the same way, I look for context and clues as to how baseball writers and the game itself feels about Pujols. And if you listen to Olney Talk or Matthew Leach, who covered him for MLB.com, or Ken Rosenthal, Tim Kirkjian, you listen to all these guys, there's a reverence for Albert Pujols, the player, and Albert Pujols, the person. So I tend to think, because people who are dialed into the sport treat him in a different way than they do some of the other sluggers of his time, that there is a decent chance that he didn't use. But I don't know for sure.
Well, because the idea that a guy who has played hard, worked hard, done right to try to earn the money of his, remarkable contract, right? We couldn't believe what the Angels did, but obviously made a lot of money with the Cardinals too. The point is, as much as you can go out there every day and earn that money, quote unquote, he did, and worked hard, and was a great teammate, and beloved by all of his teammates, or so it seems, and has been awesome in the community. We know all the stuff he's done everywhere he's ever been. We know just from what people have said about him that played with him or worked alongside him in some capacity in baseball, that he seems to be a great guy. But even that did not prove to be the Teflon to save you from the suspicions, because there have been other good guys that we found out that, aside from lying about using steroids, were documented good guys, if you will. People who said the same type things about them. I'm not talking about Roger Clemens, who, as it turns out, and as we probably all suspected from day one, is not that good a guy. But there have been plenty of others that we all had listed in the category of one of the good guys of the game. Oh, that is tragic. I can't believe Andy Pettitte used. No, not Andy Pettitte. And we wanted to believe, right? These were the good, he was the good guy. There were several of those that got outed eventually. So now we don't know, and that's why these guys are always under suspicion, regardless of those reputations off the field. I mean, there was a time, quite honestly, that outside of being douchey, I thought Alex Rodriguez was on the up and up. Not only was he not on the up and up, it turns out he was hell-bent on cheating. I mean, over-the-top crazy cheating.
There was a period of time, it's hard for people to remember, when he was first traded to the Yankees, people were mad at Jeter because he wouldn't give up his position for A-Rod, who was clearly the better shortstop at the time. But then A-Rod got to know the New York media, and the world got to know A-Rod a little bit better, and, opinions changed a little bit about Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. But I'd hazard a guess to say that more people believe that Albert Pujols is lying about his age than the legitimacy of his baseball career.
I don't know anymore. It depends on how jaded you got one by one as you found out that guy and that guy and that guy, all of whom you believe to be on the up and up at some point in their career, were lying and were figured out to have been using. Because I can tell you that I'm always that sucker who falls into the category of wanting to believe in people. And that doesn't make me better than anybody else. I'm just a wishful thinker. I like to believe that, you know what? I think that guy, I'm going to believe that he's on the up and up. I want to believe some of my heroes are doing it the right way. I found out I was very naive. I found out, as did the rest of baseball fans, that not only were some of the guys that you thought there was no way could be using steroids were using them, but they were using them in an abundance. It wasn't to recover from injury. It was strictly used to enhance performance. And when I found that out, one by one, that it wasn't just I had a bad ankle back in 89 and I used, and, now that I'm retired, I'll admit I did that for, 6 months to get back to the game I loved. I wanted to believe those stories, but one by one, those unraveled. When guys would try to go to that box and say, hey, listen, let me tell you, I'm going to play the card here. I had a terrible knee injury in 96, and, I just love this game so much, and my teammates needed me, and I used for 3 months to get back from that injury. Well, one by one, that got refuted. Players would come out and go, my ass, Jerry's lying. I gave him steroids for 6 years.
This is all true unless you're Andy Pettitte, in which case you skated. Somehow, some way, that guy skated with that very excuse you used. He said, in concurrent sentences, he said, I only used it when I was injured. I did not use it to gain a competitive advantage. Huh?
Yeah. Well,
isn't getting back to the mound a competitive advantage if you use something outside of the scope of legal and illegal?
Even with the idiocy of the comment, I would tell you that too is not believable, because you don't just – he said at some point, I used it 1 or 2 times. He acted as if he didn't even know how they worked. And then you have basically Clemens and his people's going, well, wait a minute now. I mean, they were workout partners for how long?
Yeah. No. The very foundation of his lie, though, of his fable was even false. It's impossible. How can you not be gaining a competitive advantage when it gets you back to the field quicker?
Final thing on Albert Pujols. Assuming, obviously, he's going to hit his 600th home run this year. He will. He's going to do something else in all likelihood this year. He's going to surpass Sammy Sosa to be a player who hits the most home runs born outside of the United States. Sammy Sosa has 609. Pujols currently with 599. He likely surpasses that, so he'll break that record. Also, he will be the 4th youngest player at the time of his 600th home run, behind Alex Rodriguez, Babe Ruth, obviously, and Hank Aaron. And you know what? You look at this. I was looking at the various numbers. Who do you think he hit the most home runs off of? And there are some big names on this list, and one in particular that he should be very proud about. He's got most home runs he ever hit off of one pitcher is 8, and that's Ryan Dempster. You're not going to guess that, but he punished Ryan Dempster.
Okay, yeah.
Followed by a couple of bums you don't care anything about, like Wade Miller. Just something about the phrasing, perhaps.
Yeah, a couple of bums.
You don't care.
Because Wade Miller is such a generic name. It's perfect for the bum category.
Wade Miller.
Wade
really?
Miller.
Wade Miller.
Like, you don't. When you hear Wade Miller, you're not inspired to think Hall of Famer Wade Miller.
Who was at the party that night? Well, a lot of people you don't know. Well, Wade Miller was there. Oh, Wade Miller.
Well,
yeah.
Wade got a little loose, did he?
Wade was there. No.
Stop the press.
Yeah. No. Oh, Dallas Perez is on the list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we both have the tie to Mr. Perez. Roy Oswalt was a great pitcher for a short period of time.
In the division, yeah.
Yeah, and he crushed him. But guy hit 6 home runs off of Randy Johnson. That's
Really?
throwing it on the table right there. Yeah, that's doing some things. I got you, Randy, again. 6 off of Randy Johnson. I think I like Albert Pujols, and I want to believe, but I'm so jaded that I'm not sure. This was a long-winded way of me telling you I'm not sure I do. Nick Saban did exactly what I predicted he would do and was predictable. And I'll tell you what he said at the SEC spring meetings about Florida State next. Jeff Cameron.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Savings off regular and sale prices. Exclusions apply. See store for details.
This spring, pour on the color and protection with Earthgrow colored mulch at the Home Depot. Right now, 4 bags are just $10. Earthgrow protects plants by helping soil maintain moisture. Plus, it comes in beautiful red, brown, or black and holds its color up to 12 months. So this year, a colorful garden or flower bed is in the bag. Get a fresh take on spring with 4 bags of Earthgrow mulch, just $10 now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Limit 60 bags per customer. Color selection varies by store. Valid through May 24th.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Spring is the perfect time to be outdoors, enjoying the fresh air with friends and family. It's also the right time to make sure your air conditioning system is ready for the hot summer. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air to learn more about your financing options for every budget. Visit us today at baranoac.com. License number CAC 057652.
Are you wanting to raise some extra cash fast? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need to clean out that garage full of stuff you never use? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need a newer car or truck and don't want to break the bank? Think Thrifty Nickel. Buying or selling, your best bet is Thrifty Nickel. All ads appear in print and online for maximum results. Place your ad today and ask for their guaranteed results special. Call 385-0505. Get your free copy of American Classifieds, available at hundreds of locations throughout the greater Tallahassee area.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. Baseball fever is in the air in Tallahassee. The 3 regional teams are in the capital city ready for Friday's regional at Dick Howser Stadium. The noon start gets UCF and Auburn, and then Florida State will go at 6 o'clock against Tennessee Tech. Saturday it is noon for the losers of the first 2 games and 7 o'clock for the winners of games 1 and 2. Nats outfielder Bryce Harper has been suspended 4 games for his part in Monday's brawl. Buster Posey, though, continues to take flack for not stepping up to defend his pitcher. The Giants, though, have steadfastly defended the former Seminole. NHL Stanley Cup continues tonight. Game 2, Nashville at Pittsburgh. The Pens lead the series 1-0, while the NBA Finals, it's Cleveland and Golden State. Game number 1 out on the West Coast. That game is on Thursday. And the LA Clippers have said they are interested in bringing in Jerry West as an advisor role to the team.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Dun-dun-dun. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. If you're delivering packages about town, listening to the program, I thank you. I see those guys sweating their ass off every day, delivering packages.
You got something in the mail, Amazon Prime or something like that?
I did get something in the mail for my youngest son. His birthday's this Friday, and so something came in, and the guys came in and dropped it off. And I thought, man, you know how you do that? You play that game where you say, if I didn't do this, what's a job I would do? And I'm not talking about something, sophisticated or something that would require you to go back to school and get your PhD or something like that. I'm saying just as an aside, is there a job, almost a thankless job in some cases, but one that would allow you to reside in peace within your own thoughts? You could do the job, get paid decent money, and not be bothered with people, because people screw things up. So sometimes people say and do dumb things, and that leads to much consternation. There are a lot of jobs, or at least some, that aren't quite as severe as being, say, a truck driver. Now, if you're a truck driver, I salute you. We got to have truckers. Somebody's got to do it. No way in hell I'm the man. Not going to happen. Every time I pass a trucker on the highway, I think, God love him. But there are some jobs you think, I would do that. I would do that. I've said being a mailman maybe wouldn't be so bad. I think being a UPS or one of the other companies, I try to be partial to anyone because I don't really care who drops off my packages, wouldn't be so bad. Other than the fact that you'd have that doorless thing going on. I don't like the doorless. I want the door to be able to shut. You never know.
I would think some of those, they have options, right?
I don't think so. I think some of those trucks are doorless. I don't like it. They just look like that's the way they come, and there's no fixing it. You drive the door, and sometimes you got to wear the dumb pants. And those shorts sometimes are way too short. They're unnecessary. I see they've made changes. A lot of the mailmen now, a lot of the UPS guys now, or the FedEx guys, they've got normal-looking pants that come down to the knee there, and it's not you're not hoe pants out there dropping off packages.
You could wear the tube socks.
I would.
The long tube socks?
I think it's almost a requirement. I would try to play the role of delivery guy at that point. I would wear the tube socks and everything else.
With the double stripe.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you have to wear, an American shoe at that point. I don't know why. You're required. And I mean made in America. I'm not talking about Nike. Nike is an American company made in China or in sweatshops. I'm talking about, you have to, I don't know why, but especially if you're dropping off packages, you got to wear, New Balance. That's just the way it works. In fact, you know what I think? I can complete the image here. I think you got to wear the tube socks, and I think you may even need some of the Reebok pumps. Do they even make Reebok pumps anymore? Is Reebok in business? I don't know. I've never bought a pair of Reeboks. Nothing against them. I don't know. I just never liked the style. But I'll just tell you, I would wear Reebok pumps, tube socks, shorts to the knee, and I'd have the hat. And I'd ride that doorless van around town with a smile on my face, listening to my favorite local sports talk radio host do his thing.
Man, maybe my mail guy listens to the show. Maybe he doesn't. But at any rate, he lives the image. He lives the dream. He's got the big bucket hat with the ties, so it's kind of pointed up a little bit. But he's got the sunglasses on. He's got a big handlebar mustache.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Doing it.
He's doing some things.
Yeah.
And he's very gruff, and he doesn't, if you see him.
Ain't got time.
He has no time for you.
Those guys have to deliver. They're under pressure. Now, that's the part I wouldn't like. They're under a little bit of pressure. Got to get stuff done, man. Can't be out here willy-nilly chit-chatting with people as you roll up and drop off the package.
Got an angry note because my mail is at the front of the complex that I'm in. It says, empty your mail. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
That's code for, hey, lazy ass.
I know. None of these credit card applications are,
anything you want,
on
but
the
you
level.
still have to get them out of here.
But you have to take them out and throw them away.
So I can put mail that might be meaningful to you in your box.
That's what this country does.
That's what you do.
We throw away credit card offers.
Shred. Let's make it happen. Let's go. Oh, yeah, we all do. That's what you do. Anyhow, tip of the cap to you if you're dropping off stuff and listening to the show. This is what Nick Saban had to say at the SEC meetings in Destin, Florida. And I knew that he would, and I predicted this, and it's a fairly easy prediction, so I shouldn't champion this all that much. Florida State, quote, Florida State has a great team and a great program and will probably be number one in the country, unquote. It's exciting for our players throughout the offseason, the spring and the summer, to try to prepare for a game like this against a team like that. Get the hell out of here, Nick. Come on, man.
I don't mean diddly do.
But I told you that, I thought Florida State had a good chance to be preseason ranked 1 or 2, even if people didn't necessarily think they deserved to be ranked 1 or 2, because we love the idea of number 1 versus number 2 in a game like the one that's going to be played in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And even, I think, subconsciously, voters, people who would have a say in this matter, are going to be like, that feels like 1 versus 2, doesn't it? Well, I don't know, Bob. I think Ohio State might be better. There might be a couple of teams, in fact, that are better. No. Feels like 1 versus 2 in that first game for sure. I'm putting Florida State down.
I don't mean diddly do.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's going to happen, right? So I also said if Saban has his say in the matter, he's going to champion Florida State as the number 1 team in the land. Of course he will. Never mind the fact that Alabama has had 57 straight number 1 classes. I made that up. The point is, it seems like forever and a day.
People half believe that, though,
They're
when
like,
he said
really?
it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
yes.
about right.
I mean, I'll grant you, Vietnam was going on the last time they didn't. But, yeah, so it's very annoying. But they have the most loaded team of any college football program every year, period. Now, they don't always have the best team, but the most loaded, well-stocked group of players to forge ahead with of any program in the country every year, every freaking year. That'll be preseason ranked number 1 every year because they have more future pros on their roster than you and you and you and anybody else that wants to step to the podium. And it's so aggravating. And yet I knew that he would play we're underdogs. I don't know. Florida State, that's a great program. And with what they have coming back, I just don't know. But it's an honor for us this offseason to try to prepare like champions in order to meet the challenge of facing what is likely going to be the number 1 team in the land.
I think what we're all hoping for is that Nick Saban's post-game press conference is, and I told you so. We weren't ready. We weren't ready for the challenge. Florida State is just too much. They were too much. I tried to tell you, and you didn't listen to me.
And our fans did not do a good job of willing us to victory. It reminds me of when we lost to Utah in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, it's just not all fun and games around here. You have to work to be number 1. I warned everybody. Don't you remember at the spring meetings, in the SEC spring meetings, I said, didn't waver either or stutter. That Florida State team's likely going to be number 1, and today they played number 1. We didn't. Sorry, we were not up to their greatness.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
100,000 businesses with more than $3 billion in funding. Go to Kabbage.com/radio or call 888-CABBAGE. That's Cabbage with a K, KABBAGE.com/radio.
Bryce's lifeless body slumped over the piano keyboard. His forehead played a dissonant chord that reverberated throughout the hall. Not his best performance, I thought. I opened the back of his neck with my screwdriver. A couple of fresh bars of lithium brought him and the music back to life. I am sure that someday he will do the same for me.
If this 20-second performance made you feel something, imagine what an entire Audible book can do. Visit audible.com to start your free 30-day trial.
In 20 feet, stay single until you're 34. Recalculating. In 5 feet, don't have kids until you've done it all. Recalculating. In 10 miles, go petless until you buy a bigger place. Recalculating. The all-new, redesigned, re-engineered 2017 Jeep Compass. Whatever your destination, there's a million beautiful, ever-changing ways to get there. Jeep is a registered trademark of SCA US LLC.
If you haven't stopped into Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out.
Hey, it's me, Courtney. Hey, it's me, Marissa. Last but not least, I'm Kim, and we're the girls from the Fourth Quarter.
Okay, girls, there are lots of great nights to stop in at the Fourth Quarter, including Monday, where it's happy hour all day, including 2-for-1 Wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the Fourth Quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 Wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the Fourth Quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
The old 2:30 for me to tell you this. You think Clayton knew the axe was coming? I mean, ESPN did the mass exodus for a number of employees, 100 in fact, a while back when it happened in April, late April. And now here we are, last day of May, and they announced that John Clayton's been told to have a good day. Clayton won't be unemployed long, well respected in the industry for good reason. And with a great sense of humor, tweeted out, "I'm keeping the ponytail." Well done, John. But for those that don't know, John Clayton, not going to be part of ESPN, is part of the massive cuts, which apparently continue into June.
I thought he'd be safe for the reason that he already has a show in ESPN Seattle that he hosts or co-hosts 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday.
Very boring show, terrible show.
But he does work for ESPN Radio where he hosts podcasts, and he gets good interviews. He gets good guests because everybody in the business respects John Clayton.
I do.
He does the TV hits. He's got insider information. So when you think about that, he'll write for the website. He'll do TV hits. He'll help you out with your radio stuff. I mean, that's the multifaceted type of person that ESPN says that they're trying, to promote.
Well, he's a versatile guy who's been doing it with connections in the NFL, most importantly, which is something they are invested in and do care about greatly for a very long time. And while I don't care for what he does on radio because it's so bland and so boring, he is a valuable asset, or at least was a valuable asset to ESPN's NFL coverage. He will get hired. We need not weep for John. He will be working for Fox or somebody else real soon.
If he wants to.
Yeah, if he wants. He's probably made more money than he knows what to do with, and he can stay local if he'd like up in Seattle. He can, one time he used to work in Pittsburgh. He could go back there. I'm sure they'd hire him without a problem.
Well, the scuttlebutt is that some of these contracts, for whatever reason, ESPN is deciding to part ways with these people earlier. It might be benevolent so they can find another position before their contract expires. But they're guaranteed contracts for a lot of the talent that they're cutting. So John could just collect a paycheck for however long the original contract went, assuming it went longer than May 31st. Maybe it expired today. Who knows?
I will just let you in on this. You know this, but some of our listeners don't. When the bloodletting occurred with ESPN and the firings happened en masse, and this has been a second wave of firings, one of the more interesting facets of all of this is that ESPN decided to cut ties with some pretty high-profile people who were making a lot of money in order to long-term be able to save more money and actually kind of refocus where they were going to put the money and what they were going to invest in. But as you just alluded to, many of those contracts were multi-year deals, and many more of them had just been signed, and they were, in fact, guaranteed contracts. And so for some of the people, I don't know, just maybe put a smile on your face, I guess, for what is otherwise ordinarily a pretty sad occasion. For some of the people involved, some of your favorite people that were let go, they have, in some cases, 2 and 3 years on a very well-paying contract remaining of guaranteed money. Now, the only way they wouldn't get paid anymore by ESPN is if they took another job. Most of them will take another job. They don't want to be unemployed for 2 to 3 years. I wouldn't be one of them. If you want to fire me and pay me handsomely for the next 3 years to not work, I can get down with that program. Call me lazy if you want to, but I'm all in on the whole not working and getting paid well for 2 years plan. That's a good plan. I enjoyed the 6 months where I didn't work and got paid. That was a lot of fun. I could have easily added another 6 months to that little gig, or another year to that gig. I love my job. I love the people I work with. I love talking to the people in the community. I love getting paid for not working more.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Special. Call 385-0505. Get your free copy of American Classifieds, available at hundreds of locations throughout the greater Tallahassee area.
O'Reilly. The next time you need auto parts and accessories, trust O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people know what it takes to get the job done right. Professional technicians have counted on O'Reilly Auto Parts for decades. It's all part of our service commitment to you and what sets us apart. Come see for yourself at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You check things all the time, like your email every 10 seconds, or your ex's Instagram. But what about checking something as important as your credit? Well, Discover makes it quick, easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores to everyone for free, even if you're not a customer. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. We call it the Discover Credit Scorecard. And once you know your score, you should check to see if your current credit card is the best fit for you. Check your credit, compare your card. Go to discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
Humley Gordon baseball fever is in the air in Tallahassee. The three regional teams are in the capital city ready for Friday's regional at Dick-Howser Stadium. The noon start gets UCF and Auburn, and then Florida State will go at 6 o'clock against Tennessee Tech. Saturday it is noon for the losers of the first two games and 7 o'clock for the winners of games 1 and 2. Nats outfielder Bryce Harper has been suspended 4 games for his part in Monday's brawl. Buster Posey, though, continues to take flack for not stepping up to defend his pitcher. The Giants, though, have steadfastly defended the former Seminole. NHL Stanley Cup continues tonight. Game 2, Nashville at Pittsburgh. The Pens lead the series 1-0, while the NBA Finals, it's Cleveland and Golden State. Game number 1 out on the West Coast. That game is on Thursday. And the LA Clippers have said they are interested in bringing in Jerry West as an advisor role to the team.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything, but if you do, we got you. All 3 hours going to be posted, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Limited commercial interruption, thanks to our wonderful podcast sponsor, Carlton Dean, carltondean.com. That's where you go to listen and catch up on the show. Do so rather quickly, I might add. But if you go to carltondean.com, you can find income-producing properties, and that's why you want to visit that. I celebrate the sponsorship of the podcast that allows you to go through it quickly. That's a good thing. Email the show if you want, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow, WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Jake Arrieta said something that I agree with, and I had to celebrate, and I was reading it during the break, so I'll share it with you now. It's not a lead for the 4 o'clock hour. It's just something I want to touch on very briefly, so I will. He noted, as have I on numerous occasions, that baseball kind of needs to stop, or at least the people who cover baseball, the press of baseball, ESPN and others, need to stop acting as if every time there's a fight in baseball, baseball has a problem, and that baseball's code's an issue and all that. Stop it. Why is that always the narrative? It's not. Dude threw at a guy, Guy got mad. They fought. We're done here. It's been going on for over 100 years. There's nothing wrong with it. There are fights in hockey. I know you're floored. It happens in hockey. Sometimes guys get mad and they fight one another, and it keeps them from whacking each other with a stick, and that's okay. And it's always been part of the sport. And in baseball, if a guy does something stupid and is deemed to have intentionally hit somebody, and the guy that gets hit says, I don't like that. I think I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to step to you and see about this. And then, boom, it happens, and we're done here. It's not, oh, my God, the game has a problem. This is silly and immature. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to get up and watch baseball tomorrow. And you know what? If some dumbass decides to throw when it wasn't necessary at another player and that player charges, we're not going to freak out about that either.
But what statement are we sending to the youth of our society? That fighting is okay?
You can't just willy-nilly throw at a joker and not expect there to be repercussions. Because if you do, you might get punched. And be prepared for that. Which, oh, by the way, he was. My man Strickland threw down the glove with the quickness. I got to give him that. It wasn't like he didn't expect Bryce Harper to go out there. He hit him, took a step towards him. Harper pointed to the bat. Strickland dropped the glove and went, let's go. I mean, that's exactly what I want to happen here. I threw at you with the express intent that you would come at me. I don't like you. That's why I threw at you. You're upset about that. I got it.
Let's go, perm boy. Flip your hair.
Yeah.
Let's dance.
Yes. And we can all sit back and go, this is awesome. These two men have decided to settle this like men.
Buster Posey, question mark?
All right, so let's go ahead and address that because we haven't yet. That is highly unusual. I mean, there's no dancing around this subject. It is very odd to see a catcher just stand idly by while a guy is going out to fight his pitcher. And all it says to me is that they hate that guy, that team does not respect Mr. Strickland at all. And, I can understand that. It seems to me that if you go back and look at the tape, not only does Buster Posey not come to Hunter Strickland's defense, but people who are closer, like the shortstop and the second baseman, stand there and go, well, dude, I'm not getting hit for you. I'm not getting hit for you, man. This is ridiculous. That guy went yard off you twice 3 freaking years ago in a series we won on our way to winning the World Series, and it still pisses you off to this day. Hey, man, newsflash. Bryce Harper hits a lot of home runs off a lot of pitchers that are better than you. You got to let that go.
Yeah, it's kind of like the friend who's being belligerent and in the wrong at the bar, and he starts a fight with somebody else.
You have to step in, and you're angry about it, and you know that guy's wrong, and the guy happens to be your friend, and so you're kind of like, man.
Yeah, but you let it go for a couple of seconds.
Especially if it's happened more than once.
Sure. Yeah.
And especially if you've warned him.
If he's a habitual line stepper, and he's saying, come on, man.
Again with this, I'm trying to have a beer here. What are we doing? That's exactly the way I look at it.
It's Friday. Calm down.
Is your life so sorry that you have to insult everybody under the sun every time we go out?
And then a couple of steps each way, they're converging, and you go, all right, here we go.
Here we go.
Let's see how this shakes out. Can he handle himself? Is he in trouble?
Oh, he's getting his ass kicked.
Okay, yeah. But I don't know that Strickland would have been in that much trouble in that case.
I don't think so. That's a big man. I think the longer that fight went on, the worse it would have been for Bryce Harper, who's not small, but that's a huge man he charged. In fact, as an aside, you have to be one heck of a jerk in the case of Hunter Strickland to have most people side with Bryce Harper on anything. Nobody likes Bryce Harper but Bryce Harper. I mean, everybody would like, secretly, fans, friends, family, to fight Bryce Harper. He's annoying. But yet, there they sat going, well, gosh, I think that guy's in the wrong. Bryce has every right to go out there.
Breaking news into the Jeff Cameron Show. Bryce Harper's family wants to fight Bryce Harper.
I would think.
Sources say.
I would think it would take 5 minutes of being around Bryce Harper, flipping his hair back, worried about its volume, before you were ready to take a swing. Like his preening ass every time he hits a foul ball, you would just go, okay, what are we doing here?
Hey, you know Pantene Pro V.
Yeah, I mean, it would really.
Nice swing.
You recall, it didn't take long for me to say, for those that were listening at the time, I'm a little tired of Chris Ricks with the Moose. I'm just saying, with the Moose already here, we're trying to play some football. It got annoying.
How about the blue steel resting face?
So I think, by the way, the comment, and I'll give credit to Jake Arrieta for this, he said, and I quote, that, okay, look, I don't think anybody is right or wrong in that situation. I thought it was awesome. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're going to like Jake
I'm going to end
Arrieta.
up liking Jake Arrieta.
I saw it.
I'm going to. Let me tell you something. By the way, I'm going to give you more quotes. And by the time I finish this article, and you know I want to dislike Jake Arrieta.
Yeah.
But I liked him. I got done. I was like, okay, damn it. Now, Jake, I kind of like you. Because this is how we think about this. And this is how people, I think, by and large, who've ever played competitive sports would think about this. He said, I don't think anybody's right or wrong there. I thought it was awesome. Every once in a while, it's refreshing to see two teams emotionally charged getting after one another. And when somebody like that happens versus continuing to chirp, and something like that happens versus continuing to chirp at one another, it's time to stop talking about it. Why don't you go out there and see about it? Yeah, all right, there's that. And then he goes on to say, and that's exactly what happened in that game. He goes on to say, Bryce and Hunter went out there. There were a few punches. They landed one apiece from what I can tell. And then Giants starter Jeff Samardzija comes out of left field and smashes into Giants outfielder Mike Morris. I'm pretty sure Bryce Harper was lucky that those two collided because Samardzija was coming to bring some damage. And I think he's right. I think he's right when you watch that footage.
Man, that is a collision and a half.
Yeah, and Bryce would have got blindsided there by a guy who played football.
Yes, he did.
So he goes on to say, I've got no problem settling grudges that way. If two guys want to go see about one another, let them be in the middle of it all. Let them throw a few punches. Then break it up. I don't like to see anybody get sucker punched. I do think in the heat of battle, if you're getting hit in the hip with a 98 mile per hour fastball, then you should be able to go out and see somebody about it. I think the umpires handled it pretty well too. They kind of let them exchange for a moment, and then everybody stepped in to try to break it up. What I don't like to see is a lot of guys talking, a lot of guys chirping, just talking back and forth to one another. If you've got something wrong with a guy, you've got a problem with him, you need to go see him about that. They'll break it up when it's time to play. Yeah.
This is all true. Two of my favorite moments in Major League Baseball history.
True. Yeah.
One of them is Mark Pryor, Barry Bonds. Mark Pryor is pitching inside to Barry Bonds, who was hovering over the plate with
as
his
he always did with his armor. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And Bonds started chirping at Mark Pryor.
So
Mark Pryor walked 2 steps forward off the mound, opened his arms for the world to see, as if he was telling Barry, let's go. You want to dance? And then Barry Bonds retreats back to the batter's box and shuts up and continues the at-bat. Moment number 2, Kevin Youkilis, Johan Santana in Fenway Park.
Yeah.
This is about 6-7 years ago. And Euchre gets pissed because Johan Santana hits him. It's in a high-leverage situation where you would never intentionally hit a batter or settle a grudge. And so Youkilis takes a couple of steps forward and starts yelling at Santana, who proceeds to take giant steps towards the plate, says, take your effing base, points at first base.
And that's that.
And Youkilis walked to first base like a bum. I'd use another word, but like a bum.
Or you can respect the move. He could have realized in that moment, I'm in the wrong here. Which is also, by the way, that's also manly. If we're going to do this whole man scale thing, it's a hell of a thing to know when you get called out on your nonsense and to be able to go, in that moment, he's right. He wasn't trying to hit me.
Even though you kind of have to double down, and that's what your instinct is telling you. Even if I'm wrong,
but that's why it's all the more impressive when you don't. I got to doff the cap. It's
Youkilis? Come on,
I'm
man.
just saying, it's so rare that you would ever see it. Come on, you know, we've all done this. We've all bowed up, either in voice and tone, or physically, and then thought real quick about what you're arguing about and remembered all of a sudden the thing that was missing that would have made your point obsolete, and then you go, ooh, he's right. And then now what do? A lot of times we double down, we try to manipulate the conversation so that we don't have to admit we're damn wrong. And it's always more impressive when you see the guy go, you know what? You're right, that's true, I forgot about that. My bad. Boy, that's a toughie.
Perhaps I'd tip the cap to Youkilis if he didn't complain about every call that went against him like Dwight Howard does every time he's whistled for a foul.
You know, by the way, last hour, when we were rejoicing about the fact that the NBA playoffs are finally, the finals are finally here, which were, finals that we predicted would occur, that everybody predicted. I say we, It's the Royal. Everybody.
I think everybody predicted at the moment that the 2016 NBA Finals came to a conclusion.
That is correct. And sadly, that is something that now leads conversation about the league and its problems, which is that you have a largely irrelevant regular season followed up by a largely irrelevant stretch of playoffs that last 3 months, all to get to this point that we knew they were going to get to at the end of last year's round. Now, that doesn't mean we don't want to see it. Round 3 seems exciting to me. I'm ready to go. It's going to be good. That said, I've got some odds for you. Some numbers that you kind of alluded to a moment ago, well, an hour ago when we started the show. I'll touch on these. I like to gamble. There are some odds in this series that could see you make a lot of money if you're willing to take a risk. I'm not saying you should gamble, kids, but I might. Illegally. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Allergy sufferers, my name's Nigel, and as a well-educated owl, I know the difference between what's wise and unwise. Texting after 3 glasses of Merlot? Unwise. Using new Zysol for 24-hour relief of your allergy symptoms? Quite wise. Because Zysol is just as effective at hour 24 as it is at hour 1, relieving your symptoms for a better night's sleep and a more productive day. So for continuous 24-hour allergy relief, don't be unwise. Be wise all. Take new Zysol. Use as directed.
Hi, this is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. If you're an entrepreneur, you have better things to do than reapply for funding every time you need capital. With Cabbage, you can be approved for a line of credit of up to $150,000, not just a one-time loan. Withdraw from your line anytime you need funds and only pay for what you take. Cabbage has helped over 100,000 businesses with more than $3 billion in funding. Go to Kabbage.com/radio or call 888-CABBAGE. That's Cabbage with a K, KABBAGE.com/radio.
Live market pricing is better than ever at Werner Hyundai during the Better Than Ever sales event going on now. You'll get the best prices, guaranteed. Get up to $10,000 in total savings off a new 2017 Hyundai Sonata, or up to $7,000 in total savings on a new 2017 Santa Fe Sport. You heard right. That's why it's the Better Than Ever sales event. These are the best deals in the 30-year history of Hyundai. Werner Hyundai does quick credit approvals over the phone and offers online delivery. Want to test drive first? Then take a better test drive. They'll pay for your gas if you go to them or deliver straight to you for a remote test drive. And when you test drive, get a free smartwatch or MP3 player while supplies last. Enjoy a worry-free purchase with a 3-day buyback program and get Hyundai Assurance with America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and 2 years free maintenance. Why shop anywhere else? Werner has the best customer service, test drives, pricing, and warranty. Werner Hyundai, 252 Capitol Circle Southwest, or check them out online at wernerhyundai.com. Must approve finance through Hyundai Motor Finance with approved credit. See dealer for details. Sonata stock number GH329871. Santa Fe stock number HD492731.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. All right, so I mentioned the gambling angle for the finals, so here you go. A couple other side notes here, just notes regarding the finals. Do you know that LeBron actually has a shot, and certainly at some point in his career, whether it's these finals or some other finals that he'll be in likely next year, you could break the all-time record for triple doubles in the finals. I would have thought that would be pretty far out of reach, given that a guy named Magic Johnson seemed to have one every time he played in the finals, and that was every freaking year in the 80s. Or so it seemed. LeBron has 7.
Sorry, speaking of Magic Johnson, you got me laughing. Remember the clip of when Magic Johnson was approached to save the LA Lakers?
Yes.
Tell me again, Magic Johnson, why are we here?
The Lakers are supposed to win this thing.
Ah, yes, I remember. Do you see that map, Magic Johnson?
No.
Let us talk together now, as men. Well, Magic Johnson. Talk.
The Lakers embarrass themselves, the organization, and the Laker fans.
Ah, yes. Now embrace me as my son.
Magic Johnson. You like how I went into character real quick?
You did.
I was
there.
I got right back to Magic Johnson, yeah.
You were the emperor.
I was Richard Harris, who sadly has been dead for a long time and was always really good in everything he ever was in.
Embrace me as my son.
I forgot about that. No. Do you see the map? No. Magic Johnson had 8 triple-doubles. Right now, LeBron has 7. He's played in 40 finals games in his career. He's averaging a triple-double every 5.7 games. So he could do it. He could break the all-time record. That's just an aside. Pretty amazing. Because I don't think we associate LeBron James in that way.
But we think that he's capable of doing it pretty soon because he's going to be called upon. And he embraces these types of moments.
Oh, yes.
He knows he has to be everything, and he will be if he has to be. And that's the LeBron we love. There are times when he's too dramatic and he gets hit, grazed on the forehead, and he takes a swan dive into the second row of the courtside seats. But then there's the LeBron that is a freight train, and he's going to distribute as evil as he will dunk on you.
His 7th finals triple-double happened in Game 7 last year on the road to win the championship. Yeah. And, this is the thing that drives me nuts whenever we get into these or when others get into these larger conversations about LeBron and his place. And we forget these Herculean moments in really pivotal games that are also on the resume. Oh, there are a couple of games where you scratch your head and wonder where the hell did LeBron go? But there are these moments, like Game 7 on the road when you have to have it, dropping down with a road triple-double and swatting seemingly every shot Steph put up into the 15th row.
Did that for the last 2 games of the series.
Well, there was a lot of emasculating going on there. He had about enough of that. And then you went, oh, yeah, Steph's not the best player in the world. It's still that guy by a lot.
He engulfed him in the way that Bjorn Werner engulfed the Florida quarterback back here in 2012.
Yeah, it was unsettling. There were moments where I thought, oh, Steph, you're just a wee little man. I'm reminded of this when I see that giant decide to just toss you about.
I'm reminded of my scouting report of you and your chances of being a superstar at the NBA level when you're going one-on-one with LeBron freaking James.
Yeah, ain't it happening. That's a big man. That's yeah, not going to happen. Anyhow, that said, here you go. The Warriors are minus 255 to win the finals. So if you bet $255 on them to win the series, you'll get back 100 bones. That's how that works. Minus 255 for Golden State. That is, I mean, you think Vegas likes them to win the series? Sweet Jesus. It should be noted, and I read this today, got to give credit where credit's due. I believe it was The Ringer. They noted that the odds were minus 255 last year when it was 3-1. At 3-1, if you had taken Cleveland to come back, you could have made a huge sum of money.
That's incredible. So what it was with a 3-1 series advantage.
Minus 2,500. Sorry.
Okay.
Minus 2,500, not minus 255.
I was going to say, they are as prohibitive as they would be
Yeah.
if they had to get 1 win before Cleveland could get 3.
It's crazy, right? So, think about this. If you bet $510, you get back 200 if you take Golden State. So you're not really making any money by taking the overwhelming favorite there. But that is really, I would think, pretty damn disrespectful to Cleveland. I mean, I understand it's in vogue right now. You hear the various talking heads and those that are there to break down this final. And they'll just say, well, listen, if all things are equal, they added Kevin Durant. I don't know how Cleveland makes this a series. Well, one thing I do know that's happened over the last 2 years, when you look at any of the advanced metrics during the course of the regular season as to what Cleveland is or is not in the pantheon of great teams, they never match up. They never become one of those teams that you would look at in a historical way. You wouldn't say, like, well, this is a lot like that 86 Celtics team or the 70 whatever. They don't do that. But then what ends up happening is all of those metrics get blown out of the water in that everything they did during the regular season gets elevated because they ratchet up effort. They're no longer just cruising to victories in the weak-ass East, preserving their energy for the playoffs, right? They don't care about being 1 seeds. They don't care whether or not they have a stretch where they don't play very well and they lose 7 of 10. But when they get to the playoffs, they do what they did again this year, and they become, from a numbers standpoint, but also visually, a different team. They ratchet it up. They find another gear. LeBron begins to care every night for the most part. He's certainly going to care every night in the finals. And he plays great half-court offense, great half-court defense. And as we know, in the postseason, the game becomes more of a half-court game. Now, obviously, Golden State won't want it that way. But my point would be some of the things he does better than anybody else in the world happen more often in the postseason. And thus the numbers from the regular season kind of get thrown out.
Well, I think something to also remember, too, LeBron's been to 7 straight finals now, I believe it is. Okay, in each and every one of those finals, save for maybe the Oklahoma City-Miami final, if you go 6-7 deep on the rosters of the 2 combatants, LeBron's been on the lesser talented team. I mean, even though they had the big 3 in Miami, when they were facing San Antonio back-to-back years, the Spurs were far deeper of a team. They had more established weapons who could play 20, 25 minutes a night. Miami had role players.
Right.
I mean, Mike Miller is not going to give you 35 minutes a night, but he's a guy who can be a spot-up shooter, and you combine that with LeBron's ability to find perimeter shooting in key moments, and that's deadly. But he is the best player in the world. He was for all 7 of those finals, but his rosters weren't as talented. So this is someplace that, and that's independent of the injuries that happened 2 years ago against Golden State. I mean, obviously in that series, he's trying to do a one-man show akin to what he was doing early in his career in Cleveland because of the injuries that the Cavs had suffered. But he's used to this.
Yeah.
He's used to the world being on his shoulders.
I would just think that, again, what better way to, he shouldn't think of it this way. But who knows? Players of today especially seem to use the idea of being slighted for motivation more than ever before, although it is true that throughout the annals of professional sports, there have been the great players that find perceived slights around every turn in order to motivate in a way above and beyond just another game. But if I'm him, you want to further solidify the argument. Win this series. What more are you going to say then? Okay, so we beat you last year after coming back from a 3-1 deficit. On the road, win Game 7 thanks to my triple-double and being clearly the best player on the floor. And, oh, by the way, we came back the next year after you added Kevin Durant, one of the 5 best players in the league, and beat you again? Get the hell off me with this Michael Jordan nonsense. I am the king. You could do it at that point.
I think it's not helpful to Golden State's chances, too, even though they're not the favorite. But it's not helpful to Golden State's chances, too, that LeBron played a dud of a game in the East Finals. That's out of his system now.
Yeah, I will.
And he got so much flack for that, and he cares about the flack that he gets. That's the other thing. He cares about the chatter.
Yeah.
He deeply cares about that.
I wish he wouldn't, because then maybe it would stop, because a lot of times it's pointless, and it chooses to ignore an awful lot of other things. That said, too, if he loses this finals, as he's predicted to do by the odds makers and those gamblers that are putting the big money on the game, there's no shame in that. It'll somehow turn into a referendum on what he's not, but they don't have the better team. I'm not saying I'm picking Cleveland. I just don't think it's a walkover the way that others are talking about it.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
057-652.
Yeah, that was a good ending. What's another great ending to a movie?
Jaws. Smile, you son of a...
No. That's Jaws 2.
No, that's Jaws 1, man.
No, he shoots the thing, and it's Jaws 2, isn't it?
No, Jaws 2, he hits him with the electrical wire.
Oh, you're right. The electrical thing, he's holding it up, right? He's on the little raft.
He's on the raft.
You're right.
Zzz, and then that's it for Brody. He dies after that.
He doesn't die.
In Jaws 3, he's dead. He
he had a heart attack or something.
Yeah,
we don't see it on screen.
They don't show it on screen, but yeah, the Jaws killed him.
That's okay. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Furniture Bank of Tallahassee, a division of ECHO, is the only local program that collects and distributes gently used furniture free of charge to Leon County residents in need. Our free furniture bank donates to eligible clients such as families recovering from fire or disaster, formerly homeless clients moving into their own homes, and veterans in a rehousing program. In 2016, we helped 138 families, including 33 vets, rebuild their lives. For more information or to have your furniture picked up, call 224-ECHO. Call 224-ECHO.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-minus 3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world.
Roger that. Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
Refreshment Services Pepsi announces that Kiana Redding has been chosen Employee of the Month. An accounts receivable specialist, Kiana's determination, dedication to her work, and outstanding performance reflect the true spirit of Pepsi. Congratulations, Kiana.
There's a huge sale that's about to take place at TNT Supercenter in Thomasville. In fact, this sale is so big and the savings are so good that we can only do it for just one day. So this Saturday, June 3rd, there's going to be an incredible savings event at TNT Supercenter in Thomasville. 20% off on all Echo equipment. Weed eaters and handheld blowers start at just $149.99. Chainsaws start at just $159.99, and every Echo comes with a 5-year consumer and a 2-year commercial warranty. This Saturday from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Deep discounts on Exmark and Gravely mowers. Nice savings on Bad Boy mowers. Special factory authorized discounts on zero-turn mowers with 0 down and 0% financing for those who qualify. And for one day only, instant rebates up to $1,500. But it's just one day. This Saturday, June 3rd from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to the Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
Huntley Gordon baseball fever is in the air in Tallahassee. The 3 regional teams are in the capital city ready for Friday's regional Dick Howser Stadium. The noon start gets UCF and Auburn, and then Florida State will go at 6 o'clock against Tennessee Tech. Saturday it is noon for the losers of the first 2 games and 7 o'clock for the winners of games 1 and 2. Nats outfielder Bryce Harper has been suspended 4 games for his part in Monday's brawl. Buster Posey, though, continues to take flack for not stepping up to defend his pitcher. The Giants, though, have steadfastly defended the former Seminole. NHL Stanley Cup continues tonight. Game 2, Nashville at Pittsburgh. The Pens lead the series 1-0, while the NBA Finals hits Cleveland and Golden State. Game number 1 out on the West Coast. That game is on Thursday. And the LA Clippers have said they are interested in bringing in Jerry West as an advisor role to the team.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Perhaps you can use my Twitter handle to explain this to me, NASCAR fans. Yep. I ordinarily don't talk about NASCAR, and in this case, I'm not really talking about NASCAR, but rather just something I find curious and don't understand. So I'm kind of asking you. At J. Cameron Show is what you would do, and then you'd hashtag that rather famously at this point.
Really? You went with that?
You like that?
At ESPN Greeny?
No, this is an answer.
Hashtag a-hole.
I'm not taking a call, so we're gonna do a tweet. That's all I'm saying. You can also email if you want, jcs@979espnradio.com. It's not so much what I'm asking you to look at my account for. I just need answers. Because I looked at this story, or I accidentally glanced at this story on my way to another story. That's the only way I would have seen something like this. If there's anybody still watching NASCAR, and the numbers suggest that the numbers are fewer and fewer every day, then please help me out with why this would be a problem, and then I'll move on with the program. But it did make me laugh because I immediately thought, well, I wonder how that interaction went. Kevin Harvick's crew chief, Rodney Childers, well, he got fined $10,000 by NASCAR because their number 4 Ford was found to have a loose rear lug nut during the Coca-Cola 600. Did they walk in there and say, well, what do we have here, Rodney? Oh! Might that be a loose lug nut? Loosey, Rodney. I think we all know what that means now, don't we, Rodney?
Not just screwing, Mitch.
Harvick, who started on the pole. God, we're children. Oh! Finished 8th in NASCAR's longest race of the season, but he will not incur a points penalty. The Stewart-Haas Racing driver enters the weekend's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race at Dover International Speedway, winless, but 4th in driver points, of which I care nothing about at all.
So he's pulling a Billy Horschel or Brant Snedeker.
That's right. Just middling about all year long, playing enough events, gaining enough points to maybe go win a $12 million prize.
Yeah, you guys got a race? I'll race.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But here's what I thought. Why is it illegal to have a loose lug nut? Like, why were NASCAR officials in there snooping around, looking at the car post-race, and I'm picturing a guy bending down, looking at the rear back tire going, oh, Rodney, is this a loose lug nut, Rodney? What do you think you're doing here, Rodney? Moreover, what do you think I do here, Rodney? Loose lug nuts cannot happen. Like, why is this a thing?
Rodney, sit down. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the shop. We want us to show, we want you to show us.
Yeah. How's the car, Rodney?
Yeah.
Everything on the up and up? Nothing loose, is there?
Rodney, let's see your lug nuts. Huh?
Rodney's terrified, immediately gets that elevated pulse rate, begins to look around the room, sweats.
How about it, Rodney?
Knowing that back right tire has got a loose lug nut waiting to be exposed. I wonder, though, again, I don't get anything about cars, car racing, none of it. But I don't know why that's $10,000. Now, I don't know if Rodney makes a killing. I bet he does. He's part of Children's Racing, so I'm sure he's really rich. I don't know. And I guess because he's a crew chief, he would have to make a lot of money. But, so, do NASCAR people go around loosening the lug nuts to gain an advantage of some kind? Like, there's nobody around. Quick, loosen the lug nuts. Go. Quick. We're going to get him.
Enough stalling, Rodney. Show us your lug nuts.
I assure you the lug nuts are up to standard, sir. Mm-hmm. Well, in that case, you've got no problem. Which tire shall we check first, Rodney?
Perhaps the back right tire, Rodney?
I've got nothing to hide, sir.
Show us your lug nuts, Rodney.
Why are you inferring that there's something wrong with the lug nuts, sir?
Feels a little loose in this room, doesn't it, Rodney?
I just don't know why. I think that am I the only one that finds this even reasonably amusing? Why is that a thing? Is it because, all right, and then I'll leave this alone, I promise. But is it because you could, kill your driver? Like, is this a safety thing? Like, you can't have your boy out there racing around with loose lug nuts. Tire can fly off, hit somebody in the face. He goes spinning out of control. We all die, Rodney, because you can't tighten a lug nut properly. We're fining you $10,000. Let that be a lesson to you. Or is it, I don't think we have the car for this race, Kevin. All the work I've put into this, Rodney. I've always wanted to win. I've always wanted to win here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and you're telling me we don't have the car. Not unless we loosen the lug nuts. I say loosen them. Charlotte means too much to me. Loosen at least one of the lug nuts, Rodney. I'll take the punishment like it's my own when they come for you. Just don't make it obvious. Kevin, I'm not so sure we should do this. You know the price to be paid for a loose lug nut. It's frowned upon, Kevin. Loosen the lug nut, Rodney. Do it now, post haste. I have to win in Charlotte. I don't know. I wonder, is that how we do this?
Or if it's a safety issue, perhaps, Rodney's a repeat offender. Steve on front left, his lug nuts are fine. Mike's nuts are tight. Walt's nuts in the back left. He's fine. Rodney with the loose nuts. You're killing me with your loose nuts, Rodney.
And here's the thing. We told the crew to keep their nuts in order. And then you get out here all loosey-goosey with your lug nuts.
Rodney's nuts forever loose.
Always. Yeah, I don't know what the real deal is there, but I'm counting on somebody to inform me as to why lug nuts are a thing and why you could get in trouble. We have answers. Tyler writes at Jay Cameron Show. It is safety because guys starting using only 3 lug nuts. Now they need 5 tight at all times. Okay. I don't know if that clarifies things for me, but it's safety. Tyler, thank you. Hashtag a-hole.
Hashtag a-hole.
Zachary writes at Jay Cameron Show, do you broadcast in Tuscaloosa? They would know more about NASCAR than us modern socialites, modern society. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't broadcast in Tuscaloosa. Well, you can get us in Tuscaloosa with the WTSM app or online. ESPN Tallahassee.
That's correct. Streaming worldwide.
Also on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee, and also on iTunes. Forget about it. Folks in Tuscaloosa are screaming at their app. Cameron, it's unsafe to go out there with loose lug nuts.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Or productive day. So for continuous 24-hour allergy relief, don't be unwise. Be wise all. Take new Zysol. Use as directed.
Hi, this is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. If you're an entrepreneur, you have better things to do than reapply for funding every time you need capital. With Cabbage, you can be approved for a line of credit of up to $150,000, not just a one-time loan. Withdraw from your line anytime you need funds and only pay for what you take. Cabbage has helped over 100,000 businesses with more than $3 billion in funding. Go to Kabbage.com/radio or call 888-CABBAGE. That's Cabbage with a K, KABBAGE.com/radio.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less. Woohoo! Banditos!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
Hey, Wally Woodham here. In 1974, I set the national high school passing record at Leon High with 3,560 yards.
Jimmy Jordan here. Wally, I broke your passing record at Leon the very next year.
Well, Jimmy, in our 3 years together at FSU, I threw for 22 touchdown passes.
Wally, that's pretty good, but I had 39.
Well, Jimmy, look at the deal I got at AAA Transmission.
That's a pretty good deal, Wally. At least your car's a winner.
Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop in at AAA Transmission and ask for owner Tim Pridgeon, servicing Tallahassee for over 30 years. AAA Transmission, 1023 North Monroe Street, or call them at 222-2532.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 800-419-2201, 800-419-2201, 800-419-2201. That's 800-419-2201. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You know, we've reached that point where they overanalyze OTAs. That's been going on for some time now, and it's always painful to listen to people try to glean insight from OTAs. Stop that. But, having said that, the Brock Osweiler reclamation project that we're both pulling for, Tom, has begun. All right, Brock. Hugh Jackson had positive words for quarterback Brock Osweiler today, calling the quarterback, quote, a pleasant surprise. Nothing like thinking that a guy or assuming a guy's going to suck like calling him a pleasant surprise. You might as well have just said, Hugh, we all know Brock Osweiler sucks, but seriously, he had a good day of practice. Pleasant surprise. Or, now don't get me wrong, I don't think Brock Osweiler is the next Joe Montana. But I must say, my preconceived notions of him being absolute crap at all times certainly aren't true. He had a good day today.
So it's fair to say what we're pulling for is the reporter who ceased being a reporter and just became an ass.
Right.
Turns
out
like
a fool
to be so dead wrong that Brock Osweiler ends up leading the Browns to the playoffs for the first time in however many years. You want that to happen?
I don't care anything about the playoffs for Cleveland, but certainly for Brock to have a decent season. He handled it with dignity and class. Browns coach Hugh Jackson also went on to say he's done a very good job. He works hard at it every day. He's into it. I think he enjoys being here. Very low standards. Very low standards in Cleveland. Guy just kind of has to seem like maybe he likes being there for you to garner some praise. Doesn't seem to be in hell. I mean, we're in Cleveland, folks, and he doesn't seem all that upset about that. That's a step in the right direction.
I asked him how he was doing as he was walking out to the field. He said, beats unemployment. I said, all right, glad to have you here.
All right, this guy is just a happy joker. Osweiler is working with Cody Kessler, Deshaun Kaiser, and Kevin Hogan, otherwise known as a collection of losers. Okay, that's not in the story. As the Browns sort through who's going to be the starter, this is not his week, and I'm betting that he's happy about that. It's not his week to speak to the press. Just going about his business, being happy in Cleveland, and being a pleasant surprise, according to Hugh Jackson. That is short for he isn't sucking like we thought he would. Final hour forthcoming.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot mean you can really clean up. Save up to 40% on appliance special buys, like a Samsung high-efficiency top-load washer and steam electric dryer with platinum finish, just $648 each. You save over $500 on the pair. And just like that, Laundry Day got a whole lot better. Nobody beats our prices, guaranteed. With Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through June 7th, U.S. only while supplies last. Gas dryer extra. See store for details.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066. 2066.
Need a place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill, voted best wings in Tallahassee by Tally Awards 3 years in a row. Thirsty? They have the Lucky Sevens. $7 domestic pitchers after 7 p.m., 7 days a week, $7.95. Daily specials. Locally owned and operated since 1978. Hobbit American Grill keeps it local with a wide variety of locally crafted beers plus a full bar. Hobbit American Grill. 3 locations to choose from. 400 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
What is today? Today's the day you do absolutely nothing. Put it on silent nothing, because you aren't one to let chore time get in the way of your time. And that's why you use Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. Save 20% on all Echo Pro Grade string trimmers, chainsaws, and blowers during the Echo One-Day Sales Event, and take the hassle out of yard work.
Don't miss the Echo One-Day Sales Event this Saturday from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. at TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to the Dairy Queen in Thomasville.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. So dry. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your mouth cannonball into a barrel of mothballs? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? You're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the do.
Refreshment Services Pepsi announces that Kiana Redding has been chosen Employee of the Month.
An accounts receivable specialist, Kiana's determination, dedication to her work, and outstanding performance reflect the true spirit of Pepsi. Congratulations, Kiana.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
Humley Gordon baseball fever is in the air in Tallahassee. The three regional teams are in the capital city ready for Friday's regional at Kaiser Stadium. The noon start gets UCF and Auburn, and then Florida State will go at 6 o'clock against Tennessee Tech. Saturday it is noon for the losers of the first two games and 7 o'clock for the winners of games 1 and 2. Nats outfielder Bryce Harper has been suspended 4 games for his part in Monday's brawl. Buster Posey, though, continues to take flack for not stepping up to defend his pitcher. The Giants, though, have steadfastly defended the former Seminole. NHL Stanley Cup continues tonight. Game 2, Nashville at Pittsburgh. The Pens lead the series 1-0, while the NBA Finals hits Cleveland and Golden State. Game number 1 out on the West Coast. That game is on Thursday. And the LA Clippers have said they are interested in bringing in Jerry West as an advisor role to the team.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but remember this. If you do, we got you covered because all 3 hours will be posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. When you go there to check it out and get caught up, you'll be able to breeze through the show because there are very limited commercials. That's because of our great sponsor, Carlton Dean, carltondean.com. Off-market deals sitting over there at carltondean.com. Go find out more. Check it out online. Email the show, jcs@979espnradio.com. Read them all. Get back to some. Appreciate everybody. On Twitter, it's at @JCameronShow. WTSM app works as well for mobile devices, and you can watch the show be performed on YouTube. Just type in ESPN Tallahassee. You're good to go. Yeah, lots of ways. We're all caught up there. Florida State will be playing baseball at home soon. That's on Friday night at 6 o'clock. Todd Walker going to join us, I think, tomorrow on the program. He's got the call as the color analyst. That's former big leaguer Todd Walker. Long, distinguished career in the major leagues and, of course, played great baseball at LSU as well. And it'll be fun to talk to him both about a college baseball series weekend in Tallahassee, but also his career. Look forward to it. And I began the show kind of that way, by the way, earlier in the 3 o'clock hour with the idea that still kind of sinking in. Still fun now to realize that we've got a home regional. For people that are kind of iffy about college baseball, you might not get that, but it has been a long-standing tradition. It has been a long-standing tradition for Florida State year in and year out. A testament to their consistency and how good they've been over the years that we just grow to assume, hey, we'll be playing some home baseball games here soon enough that matter, postseason games. And frankly, over the years, you know, I've talked about the ACC tournament as being somewhat insignificant. And the reason for that is because we always have our eyes on the bigger prize, which is that elusive national championship, right? The program's won plenty of ACC championships, and they've won plenty of regional titles and super regionals, and they've gone out to the College World Series and acquitted themselves well, but never come home with a national title. And that's why our focus is always so steadfastly on that, again, final crowning achievement to a career well played. And yet this year it felt a little bit different because, you know, it's the classic, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Well, what was gone was the consistency of a Florida State baseball program that wins 40-plus games every year and is always in the running to be a team that is a threat to win the national title. Whether they have or not is irrelevant. That part of it is always seemingly true. And this year it wasn't. And because it wasn't, specifically because it wasn't, I rather enjoyed that ACC title in a way that I never have before. I mean, again, they enter the NCAA tournament now with 39 victories. They can reach 40 wins for the 40th consecutive season. And I say that to say this. It was 10 days ago. It was 14 days ago that we didn't think that was a real possibility. That wasn't realistic. We said it was unlikely. Possible, sure. We didn't rule it out. But it was going to take a Herculean run, and they were going to have to do some things that buck the trend, which is to, win series against good teams consistently, and they did.
Yeah, but what's the biggest difference between then and now?
Pitching.
Yes, and that's the thing that's going to have to continue. And, not to get too far into the weeds, but you referenced it in 3 o'clock hour, the great interview with Mike Martin Jr. from yesterday. Encourage people to go back and listen to that because it's down to brass tacks, bottom dollar from either side, the fan side, the coaching staff side, and then somewhere in the middle, I'm sure, is the truth. But one thing that Coach Martin was talking about, Meat was talking about, was that the changeup is the pitch that Cole Sands has found. That the changeup is the pitch that Drew Parrish has found. It's been the off-speed stuff that people would swing at in high school, but now that you're at the collegiate level, especially a regional level, people won't unless you can throw it for strikes and command the pitches. So for me, if this is all going to continue being a kumbaya of the bats are awakening and the arms are coming to life at the same time, then that aspect of those two pitchers has to be on its game Friday night and then into the weekend if Drew Parrish or Cole Sands is your pitcher in the Sunday game that Florida State plays.
Well, and I want to, I guess, further illuminate a point. I don't feel like at any point I was worried about the offense. They've had some games. Obviously, it's a long baseball season. Sometimes you face a pitcher who's on. You're going to have a night where you don't score, and quality pitching does that to you. But by and large, when they've had their lineup intact, they've put an awful lot of pressure offensively, and statistically, the numbers are all there to prove that. They've been very, very good. They just haven't always been healthy. The offensive concerns, whatever they may have been, aside from first half of the season base running, really had more to do with the inconsistencies of the lineup, and that had to do with health. So basically, once they've been right, they've been good. And again, you've had some guys who had lingering effects and injuries that we didn't know about, and that was also revealed in the interview yesterday with Mike Martin Jr., which is that, we've wondered what happened to Cal Raleigh after such a successful freshman campaign. How did he take such a big step back? Well, he's been dealing with a lot of issues, in particular a wrist problem. Good luck hitting consistently with a wrist problem. So you find that out. And other guys had various ailments that they kind of played through. Some couldn't. Some missed a lot of time. Some who continued to play through problems, and it had an impact on their season. So, that's all eye-opening, but I don't worry about that. I worry about the consistency of the pitching. They did find it. They threw to a 1.62 ERA in the ACC tournament, and I'll tell you something, even if they hadn't hit, pitching that way and being overwhelmingly dominant against those teams, again, 1.62 in 39 innings bears that out. You can win tournaments, you can win series, you can win regionals doing that.
Yeah, they largely did not hit in the Notre Dame game, which if they lost that, then they wouldn't play the weekend no matter what happened against Louisville. They could have gotten that win, but they still would have been coming home, and you can bet they wouldn't have hosted. So,
right.
Pitching got them there, but it can't be a fluke. It's got to continue to be something close. It doesn't have to be a 1.62, but it's got to be something close to what we saw out of Sands and Parrish. Otherwise, the bats are just going to have to go crazy all weekend long. They're capable of it, but that's what would be necessary for Florida State to move on to the Supers.
I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I went back and listened because sometimes when you're conducting the interview, you don't hear every word or every phrase, or when you go through and you parse what was being said and maybe the words behind the words and the meanings behind the meanings, you can kind of get a hint a little bit more than when you're in the midst of it thinking about the next question or what he's saying. So I went back and listened to that interview. Frankly, I did it to critique myself, but also to hear if I was in any way unfair because it got a little heated. And I wanted to see, did I say something that was unfair? And you guys who haven't heard it, you can go back and listen to decide for yourself on that, but I think we're in good shape there. But when I did that, Tom, one thing that really stood out to me, and again, I got to be careful about how I say this because I'm not sure that this is what he's implying, but certainly it's something I took away from it, and that is it sounds an awful lot like, A, they feel pretty good that Sands has found the changeup and is going to pitch well this postseason, and that's more indicative of what they thought they were going to get than what his season looked like. And maybe the same will hold true. We'll see. He's young, so sometimes the moment can be too big for a youngster. But same with Parrish. Because what was noted was that sometimes the way you call a game, sometimes the pitches you call and win and how you call. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but I don't know if you noticed that, but it's certainly, that sounds like there might have been a come to Jesus. And I'm not saying anybody got yelled at, but it sounds like that maybe they had to have a conversation about how Cole Sands games were being called or the philosophy going into those games as to what they wanted to throw and win, because it sure sounds like they went back kind of and reflected on why isn't a guy whose stuff is good as his is, and Mike talked about that, why is he not having success? Well, sometimes you get a little unlucky. You got a routine ground ball, guy didn't make a play, the next pitch, you kind of get frustrated, you give up something, and an inning gets out of control and it's a bad start. Other times you look back at the way that you called the game or the pitches you call, I think he said. Okay, that's interesting. That sounds like I don't think we should do this. Let's do this. Then they did that, and it worked.
Yes, and you're referencing Mike Bell, who would be calling the games from the dugout. But here's the thing. Whether it's
and there's
the
nothing
hitting
wrong
side
with
of the
that
equation.
necessarily.
No, that's coaching. That's coaching.
That's kind of how it works. I mean, if we have a problem in radio, either one of us feel comfortable enough to say to the other, I'm thinking lately we haven't done this or we need to do this, because that has to be in play. You have to be able to be critical of each other or at the very least critique a situation.
Well, I think that this thing is twofold, always is. Number one, you can say, well, Bell's been killing us, and that's the obvious answer that people would say, whoa, so wait a minute. You're telling me that, the hitting coach has to go to the pitching coach and tell the pitching coach, let's call the games a little bit differently?
I don't know how it happened.
That's the easy way to go about it. But,
right.
There's two sides to this, too, because apparently something mechanically or there's a thought where Sands and Parrish have found a pitch, not just the sequencing, but they found a pitch. Mike Bell deserves credit for that, too. These kids have underperformed. They have not executed to the level, especially Sands, that we thought they were going to execute.
He's been wildly inconsistent.
Yes, but he's found something, and whatever he's found...
Which is the changeup.
But, I'm talking about the thought.
The
slot,
when to throw, yeah.
Yeah, if it's a lower half mechanical thing that frees up his upper half in order to get into the right slot, whatever that is, Bell deserves credit for that, too. But that's coaching. You've got to adjust. It looks like they've adjusted just in the nick of time, but they've made the adjustment. We'll see if it's a fluke or because they were facing Duke and Notre Dame last week for two of those opponents, and they don't really hit all that well. But maybe it isn't. Maybe it's something that continues. And if it continues, then this team's really dangerous, because that's one thing we said. It was always the but point when we were underperforming. The ceiling for this team is different than it's been in the last 4 or 5 seasons. This one's really talented across the board.
Yeah, I think, too, by the way, and I want to get this out there because I haven't really hemmed and hawed about this either way. When they were performing poorly, I said it's a disappointing season. The coaches have done a poor job of reaching this team and getting them to play to their potential. Yeah, I'm aware of the injuries. They matter. It's not an excuse. It can be a reason, etc. But we got into all of that. But I also said all along, if they do, and this team gets healthy and gets righted at the right time, they could be one of those teams that we've seen, the kind of team, unfortunately, that has frequently come in here or we've run into in a super that beat us, where you look at the record and you see, the numbers and nothing really jumps off the page, and you're left wondering from afar because that's not the team you cover, and college baseball isn't exactly all over the networks, so you don't see how a team plays game in and game out, week in and week out, and how they use their starters or their bullpen in a midweek situation. But we would see these teams and you'd go, all right, well, decent record in their conference, which isn't a great conference. This stands out. This is okay. And then we'd get beat by them, and you'd go back with the benefit of hindsight, and you'd go, oh, well, that's Kyle Schwarber. Or that kid from Georgia Southern or whatever is the quickest to make it to the majors, and he started against us in that first game, or whatever it might be. Or you'd find out, well, they were injury-riddled, and they spent half the season without their best player, who's their starting third baseman, who's now been back for 3 weeks, and that last week of the season in their conference tournament started to find his timing. So their offense was greatly bolstered with him in the lineup. Or, they didn't have their closer all year long, and they lost 5 games in the 9th, and that kind of skewed their record. But that guy's back throwing 100. And he shortens games. Those kinds of things. We're that team this year. We're the team that had all of the talent that was underperforming did suffer a bunch of injuries and, had some maddening performances from kids who we thought and who their baseball card would tell you, using the old kind of phrase, they should be better. I mean, if you look to the back of the card, if you were to see the numbers from a year ago, you'd say there's no way they take that kind of step back. And then they did. And so I kept thinking, well, God, if they get it right at the right time, for all the criticism that I also stand by and I think was fair, they can be very good. I wouldn't want to be playing us. Now, nobody's going to come in here scared. It's the nature of competition. And those teams that are in this regional had good seasons. And at one time, a couple of them were set to maybe be hosts themselves. So they're going to come in here thinking they can win. Of course, you got to go out and do it. But just judging the situation, looking big picture, I do think we go into this regional feeling very good about ourselves with a very good opportunity to win this regional and then let the chips fall where they may. I mean, a super, you're going to have to play somebody good, whether that's here, if you're on the road at Lubbock, whatever it might be. I like this team's chances. I think they have found something. I do think they have the requisite confidence to go into this regional and this postseason in general and play very well. And I wouldn't be stunned in any way if they get out to Omaha. I think they will win this regional. And, I feel very confident about that. If I'm wrong, we'll talk about it, but I think they're going to win the regional, sure.
We can go back to the Monday after Wake Forest. I remember saying at the time, I liked a lot of what I saw this weekend
when
against
we lost
Wake.
the series,
but you
2
lost
one-run games, yeah.
Yeah, but you lost 2 out of 3. Well, and you won Saturday in a sense because it's a de facto doubleheader, but Wake had already built up the 4-0 lead. You outscored them 7-0 on Saturday, but you end up splitting that doubleheader.
Well, just to hold that offense, which was one of the best, if not the best in the ACC through much of the season, you felt, oh, well, that's good pitching against a team that can really hit. Okay.
So even though there were signs of life, you're looking at that situation and then you're going on the road to play Louisville to close out the season and you go, well, I mean, okay, I know it's in you, but we've played 55 games here and you haven't earned it. You haven't earned the right to be talked about as the level of talent that you guys have in you, the potential that's in you. We can't describe you that way because you haven't played up to that potential.
And we're tired of saying wait till they start playing to their potential because I said it 10 times during the course of, if you go back to April, I feel like we were talking about this on a weekly basis. Like, well, you know what? I'm not hitting the alarm bell yet, but this is getting kind of annoying.
Yeah, at some point you have to hit the freaking alarm bell, and they have to go on this run to host. I mean, they had to win out to be able to host a regional.
They did.
And they did. And if they go on to do something that no other team in program history has done, then yes, absolutely right. He already coined it. Mike Martin Jr. coined it the road trip. It will be known as the road trip. It will be known as Louisville, Kentucky 2017, where everything changed. And that's great, and I hope that happens. But at the time, when we're levying the criticisms, they're absolutely right because – you could talk about the injuries to the lineup, but the lineup wasn't the problem. You had, unless there's something we don't know about yet with Sands, Parrish, and or Carlton, where they were dealing with something as the season went along, an injury of some sort that they were trying to work through. They're the ones that are killing you.
Well,
the sense that Carlton wasn't available in the starting rotation,
right,
and that you had 2 starters in the weekend that they're thrown to a 6 ERA. I mean, damn it, they're the ones that are holding you back. But it looks like they might have flipped the script, and if they have. Well, the sky is the limit. Then I'm not even afraid of the Supers in Lubbock.
Well, yeah, and we don't need to. Obviously, we have no impact on these games, so it's always one of those weird phrases where I say something like, well, we don't need to get ahead of ourselves. Well, I'm not throwing a pitch. I'm not taking an at-bat, so it doesn't really matter what I do. But I do, that's the fun of this job, right, is kind of projecting and guessing, and we all do this together based on the evidence that we have on a weekly basis, whether it's our pro team or anybody else. And I come into this regional feeling like they're in real good shape to win the regional. And I think, listen, they would not have been a team. Okay, so the team that we see going into this regional that had 2 victories at number 2 Louisville, who hadn't lost a home series against an ACC opponent since they joined the league, they got that. You get the extra inning game against Notre Dame. Jackson Luke hits the walk-off. You have the throw from Wells out in right field to preserve a tie game to help you win it in extras. You come back and beat Louisville again. This is in the second round of the ACC tournament. Then, obviously, you beat Duke. And, by the way, Cole Sands in that game obviously looked really, really good, which is why we're talking about feeling better about our pitching situation. 8 strikeouts, 2 hits, no earned runs. He was great. And then, obviously, you come from behind in the game against North Carolina, and you win the ACC championship. So you spend 12 days in Louisville, Kentucky, and all you do is put it on the table, baby. You win every one of those damn games. It is, get you some. you could not be in a better situation, in a better place, as improbable as that seemed, than what this team is in now. You want to garner confidence when you've had none of it all year long for a variety of reasons? That's how you get it. You kick ass in a place where nobody's winning against a team that doesn't lose at home. You don't just beat them, you basically sweep them in a shortened 2-game set, then in a meaningful ACC game in their backyard.
They look shook by the end of the Holton start.
Well, I think they had to have been thinking, well, who is this? I mean, these guys aren't having it. We played with a bravado, played with a confidence and a belief. And, that's not necessarily always quantifiable. I don't know what that means in each at-bat or on the hill or out of the pen. But when you watch them play like that, that's a team that believes they're supposed to win. And if you're that talented, you would have liked to have seen a whole season that way. But to Mike Martin Jr.'s point, they were injury-riddled, and maybe they got shook along the way themselves.
I think the Friday night game in Louisville encapsulates the Florida State baseball that we all think of when we think of the program, because you get a great start. And then I remember a specific play. It was hit into left field where the announcer for Watch ESPN is calling it like it's a walk-off hit in the World Series. And it would be to tie the game even if both runs scored, which they never would have. But then there's a play. It's Luke to Walls to Raleigh. And it's an outfield assist for the ages because the kid's out by 2 or 3 feet.
Yep.
This guy's calling it like it's the game's going to be tied.
Yeah, he thought for sure.
And it was just a picture of Tom Amansky level defense. And then you got the pitching to go along with it, and then we wore them out with our approach at the plate, and we ended up winning that game going away in the latter innings. But it was close for much of that game.
Yeah.
And I just remember how satisfying that felt because in all phases of baseball,
it was a
we won
dominant
that
performance, and you get a 5-run ninth to make it look ugly, yeah. Listen, we've probably belabored the point, but that's how excited we are about a regional here in Tallahassee again and a season turnaround that sees them a game away from winning 40 games for the 40th consecutive season. And this was a season that was trying, to say the least. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Along with 0% interest for 72 months on 11 models. This is our biggest sale of the year with up to $3,000 off Versa, Sentra, and Frontier. Up to $4,000 off the best-selling Rogue. $5,000 off Muranos. Up to $6,000 off Altimas and $7,000 off Maximas. Plus, trade in your Toyota or Honda and receive an additional $1,000 on your trade. And in honor of our veterans and Memorial Day, Kraft Nissan has a military program that gives you our best price plus an additional $500, $750, or $1,000 depending on the model you choose. Finally, let Kraft Nissan add to your summer fun with a free 5-day, 4-night cruise for 2 with any purchase. And as always, Kraft Nissan's exclusive free lifetime warranty on every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles. Tallahassee is officially a Nissan town because Kraft Nissan gives you more value for your dollar. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Allergy sufferers, my name's Nigel, and as a well-educated owl, I know the difference between what's wise and unwise. Texting after 3 glasses of Merlot? Unwise. Using new Zysol for 24-hour relief of your allergy symptoms? Quite wise. Because Zysol is just as effective at hour 24 as it is at hour 1, relieving your symptoms for a better night's sleep and a more productive day. So for continuous 24-hour allergy relief, don't be unwise. Be wise all. Take new Zysol. Use as directed.
Hi, this is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank. If you're an entrepreneur, you have better things to do than reapply for funding every time you need capital. With Cabbage, you can be approved for a line of credit of up to $150,000, not just a one-time loan. Withdraw from your line anytime you need funds and only pay for what you take. Cabbage has helped over 100,000 businesses with more than $3 billion in funding. Go to Kabbage.com/radio or call 888-CABBAGE. That's Cabbage with a K, KABBAGE.com/radio.
What is today? Today's the day you do absolutely nothing. Put it on silent nothing, because you aren't one to let chore time get in the way of your time. And that's why you use Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. Save 20% on all Echo Pro Grade string trimmers, chainsaws, and blowers during the Echo one-day sales event, and take the hassle out of yard work.
Don't miss the Echo one-day sales event this Saturday from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. at TNT Super Center, US 19 South, next to the Dairy Queen in Thomasville.
Geez, dude, you need to change your blinker fluid.
That's not a thing.
And your thoracic couplet is totally shot.
Really?
It is.
Look, nothing gets by me. Just like this oil filter. Nothing gets by Purolator.
Hey, if you're using Purolator Boss, you know your stuff.
Oh yeah, protection up to 15,000 miles.
Ooh, but you really should replace your Vesuvius valve.
Stop talking.
Purolator oil, air, and cabin air filters. Nothing gets by us. Available at Advance Auto Parts, Pep Boys, and other fine retailers.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Dalvin Cook has signed his rookie contract with the Minnesota Vikings. And I imagine he's feeling pretty good because it is $6.35 million for the contract, but it includes a $2.76 million bonus. Millionaire.
That's pretty awesome. And, you know, the funny thing is my first thought, other than it's awesome he's a millionaire, is, damn, it really sucks he didn't make it in the first round because the slotting is killer these days in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. The money lost to falling is obviously a stark contrast when you look at the various places that we could have predicted him to go or that we did predict him to go. But you know what? If he gets that second contract, it'll be because he's been very productive in the league, and it will be a huge one. So knock on wood for him, and it'll be interesting to see the kind of season he has. By the way, as an aside, we now know Florida State is playing, 3 straight night games? Is that correct, to start the season?
That is correct. Obviously, the Alabama-Miami games in weeks 1 and 3 were announced. 8 p.m., ABC, the full treatment. But then it is the second week. I think that's Louisiana-Monroe. Forgive me, FCS team, if you're not Louisiana-Monroe. But that's a 7 p.m. kick for the first home game here at Doak Campbell Stadium. 7 p.m.
Hard to make that second game after Alabama, albeit the home opener. But when you have an opponent as, uninspiring, is that a better way of saying it?
At least it's a night game and not in 110-degree heat index.
You kind of have to do that, right? You kind of have to say, well, you know what we're going to do here? We're going to make this doable. Primetime kickoff again for the Louisiana-Monroe game, and it will be shown online via the ACC network. That's how little they think of the game. It will be online. The previously announced 8 p.m. kickoffs that we just alluded to against Alabama for the season opener and the 8 p.m. primetime home game against Miami September the 16th, That means 2017 is night game, night game, night game. Getting loose.
Also announced was the Friday game, which we knew is going to be a primetime kick.
Boston College.
For Boston College. That's an 8 p.m. kick. They were deciding for the October the 27th game, 2 days after my birthday, whether or not they were going to kick at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m.
I like that you adopted my approach.
I don't know, and I felt that felt really dirty, like I was stealing some intellectual property.
No, I think it's well done. You know, you live and learn. I'm an elder. It's okay to take things that you deem necessary. I was just telling young Matthew today back there, the director of this here program, that, I actually like getting older. I like viewing things through the lens of a guy who's lived 46 years now. I will be 46 years on my birthday, June 11th. But I like using that perspective that's gained just by merely living, having been around, make enough mistakes or contributions, if you will. Doesn't bother me even in the slightest. That said, I don't think I any longer care about this FSU Boston College thing on Friday nights. I'm not going up to Boston this year.
You've determined that.
I've decided we're not doing it, Tom. We're not doing it.
We're not
going.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night. There's no need, I'm tired of this Friday night nonsense. This is the big boy football program. We don't need to be playing on Friday nights. That's the next thing we got to do. Start dictating terms. If you win the conference this year,
enjoy the game from Tallahassee. Lovely, sweet Tallahassee.
Good times.
And then get to bed and then get ready for a full Saturday of college football. You can enjoy some pastries and then watch some of the great games.
I love Boston as a city. I enjoy it. I love history, so the Freedom Walk, all that. I mean, it's enjoyable, but at the same time, I think, I don't know. Always with the Friday, man. Always with the Friday. What other games are that weekend? What are the Saturday games?
Florida, Georgia is that weekend, and I can look up the rest. But I knew that because I was thinking about making the 2-hour drive over because we talked about it last week.
Yeah. Finding ways to go to other great rivalries that you have no stake in just to see what it's like, especially on weekends in which Florida State is playing an also-ran opponent or an off week or on the road somewhere where we're not traveling for whatever reason. In this case, there's a good reason. Friday night in Boston, I will say, and this is only for my own sake because I like to look back on it. You know how people get scarred, Tom, and they like to remember that scar. I'll let you know because I think it's happened twice now for whatever reason in Boston, 2 times. I have never in my life had to pee more than I have had to in Boston in a situation where I couldn't. For whatever reason, I think it's the trek into that stadium. Sometimes we may have been pre-gaming. I don't know. But for whatever reason, both of the times that I was in Boston for the Friday night game, I have had to use the restroom and could not go. And there was nowhere to go. And I was beginning to feel the pain, the crippling pain, and the need to pee.
Feel the pain of everything.
Oh, it was the worst, Tom.
Then you feel nothing.
Desperately searching, and then looking at that one establishment by the stadium and seeing the police officer camped out front thinking that he's probably there to tell me that I can't just go in there to go pee because everybody wants to do that. You know the place? We all walked in there by the one. It was, we were right there.
Oh, yeah, that area. That's where Belichick pulled up.
Yes.
No lie. Belichick pulled up, and it was in a fire lane, and the guy just let him go because he's Bill Belichick.
That car was sweet that Belichick was riding. What was
that?
Goes,
oh, my God, it's Bill Belichick.
It did make me laugh. That guy did freak out. Bill Belichick pulled up right in front of us. But that had nothing to do with helping me pee.
It's a very nice fire lane.
And I remember being very angry, thinking, there are no bathrooms around here. This is hell on earth.
You get sick when you go to Boston, too, because remember the next day you weren't feeling so well Saturday night, and that happened when
Southern Cal was playing Stanford.
That's right. But it was in the evening as the sun was going down. That was the Fournette versus Auburn game we were watching.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden something came over you, and you had to go to the drugstore, the whole nine.
That was a mess.
And that
maybe that's why I'm not going to Boston.
Because you eat all the rich food when you go to Boston.
Well,
the buttery seafood, and then it runs through you.
Yeah, well, you get that, but I had to pee.
North Carolina, Miami, Florida, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State.
It's that sense memory. We're talking about Boston, and all of a sudden I feel like I could utilize
we
that.
need to go to break?
No, if I were an actor in this situation, I could summon the strength to be able to give you that kind of and reveal the kind of pain I was in, Tom.
Is your tournament train pulling into the water closet?
All right, enough about me having to pee. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
100 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, and bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 888-789-5042. 888-789-5042, 888-789-5042, 888-789-5042.
The weather's heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. Your Big Ben Makita Pro Center. Makita 18-volt X2 LXT for only $249. Zero emissions and reduced maintenance. No need for gas or oil. Same battery, 36-volt power. Also ask about your increased warranty on Makita concrete tools. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener. 2 locations. 1110 Stuckey Ave in Tallahassee or at 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Call them at 580-1200 in Tallahassee or 926-1144 in Crawfordville. Online at ctf.nu.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. So dry. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your mouth cannonball into a barrel of mothballs? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? You're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
Refreshment Services Pepsi announces that Kiana Redding has been chosen Employee of the Month. An accounts receivable specialist, Kiana's determination, dedication to her work, and outstanding performance reflect the true spirit of Pepsi. Congratulations, Kiana.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube.
Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history.
May 31st, 2007. In a double overtime game at the Palace of Auburn Hills, LeBron James single-handedly carried the Cleveland Cavaliers to victory over the Pistons. LeBron scored 29 of his team's last 30 points in the fourth quarter and 2 overtimes, lifting the Cavs to a 109-107 victory to take a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
Huntley Gordon baseball fever is in the air in Tallahassee. The 3 regional teams are in the capital city, ready for Friday's regional at Kaiser Stadium. The noon start gets UCF and Auburn, and then Florida State will go at 6 o'clock against Tennessee Tech. Saturday it is noon for the losers of the first 2 games and 7 o'clock for the winners of games 1 and 2. Nats outfielder Bryce Harper has been suspended 4 games for his part in Monday's brawl. Buster Posey, though, continues to take flack for not stepping up to defend his pitcher. The Giants, though, have steadfastly defended the former Seminole. NHL Stanley Cup continues tonight. Game 2, Nashville at Pittsburgh. The Pens lead the series 1-0, while the NBA Finals, it's Cleveland and Golden State. Game number 1 out on the West Coast. That game is on Thursday. And the LA Clippers have said they are interested in bringing in Jerry West as an advisor role to the team.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
A little later than that.
School's out already, too.
Yeah. Good song, though. It's all right.
Would appear I got an email, Jeff.
You did indeed. Right in the middle, driving and crying, man. That's not what you do. Man, I have immense respect for Jack Nicklaus. Who doesn't? Who love golf? You know, everybody who's or anybody that's certainly kind of followed his career and the person he's been. And if you watch that documentary that was done on the Golf Channel, that was really well done. 3-part series. I highly recommend it. But that's not really what this segment's about. Just that I noted that he, when asked about Tiger Woods' situation with his recent arrest, said. You know what, I think sometimes it gets lost. Everything's so hyper-covered and hyper-focused on, and that's true across the board. And if you're a celebrity, it comes with the territory, and I'm sure all of these people get this. But typically when something like this is happening, somebody could use a friend as opposed to every detail being picked apart, every situation being overanalyzed and blown up, and every picture that could possibly make the person look bad scoured. And he took the opportunity when asked about it to say that, look, I feel bad for him. He's clearly struggling. He's been great for the game of golf. He needs support from a lot of people right now, and I can tell you I'm going to be one of them. That was his quote. Dude's class act. You know, he knew what the throngs of reporters wanted. He knew what that could have turned into, and in one very concise statement, he laid it all out there. I'm not piling on. This ain't the time. My man's got some situations to deal with here. I'm aware of it. I'm going to help him.
Yeah, this is something we talked about off the air yesterday as headlines was rolling. But when it comes down that he has a 0.00 BAC in that situation, that's not necessarily good news. That's a sign of something more grave.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I do find this situation obviously fascinating for a lot of reasons. And then some of it is just more titillating than anything else, and it's what people do and the way that media works now. I get it. But when we saw that, when we found out that it wasn't a night out on the town where he had too much fun and got pulled over and suffered the consequences, we found out that, in fact, he hadn't had a sip of alcohol. I think the initial response was, oh, well, that's curious. And, he was asleep and he hadn't been drinking? I mean, what's going on here? But then you find out that it has to do with a combination of opioids that he had taken. And a lot of people came out today and said, you got to be better than that, got to be smarter than that. Well, he said as much and regretted it. It's dangerous and could kill somebody. I got you. But I thought, man, that's actually, in some ways, that is more startling than if it had just been the aforementioned night out on the town where he made a mistake. We know the epidemic of opioid addiction in this country and how it is grown into this monster. And if you go read the statistics as to how many deaths are caused by opioid addiction, whether that be on the roadways or in just roadways or in somebody's personal life, you find out now that it's alarming in a way that I don't think a lot of us understood. I certainly hadn't until I read a recent article and thought, oh my God, it's not in small, poor communities. It's not where originally they thought it was just a big problem in West Virginia and in small rural places that, had a lot of tough living, tough jobs and uneducated folk.
Illegal drugs are a problem. Prescription drugs are a problem. Both of them can be a problem at the same time. Typically, this is a dividing line.
Right.
When you talk about political debates as to which drugs are the worst drugs.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. These are nothing to mess around with. And the hope is that you're taking Tiger at his word in this situation, saying
that he accidentally
he didn't
mixed
realize
a couple.
that the mixture of what he took was going to lead to this predicament. He's getting off a plane or whatever, and maybe, something that you take for flying combines with something that you take
he's had 4
for your
back
surgery.
So you figure you come off a plane,
Yes.
you might not be feeling good. You take these pills or whatever you've been taking, and the next thing you know, it hits you. I don't know what happened, and I don't really care to speculate beyond the fact that we know opioid addiction and the overuse of and prescribed opioid epidemic is a problem, far-reaching, that has affected this country big time. I felt more alarmed that a guy who's had 4 back surgeries is mixing medications in a week after he's just released on his website that he's never felt better. If I'm related to him and I care deeply about who he is and the person and not just the headline, but actually the guy, the dad, the whatever he is, I'm more concerned today. That actually bothers me more. And that's just me. I'm thinking, oh no. Does he have a problem with prescription painkillers?
Well, we talked about this a little earlier today as it relates to Albert Pujols and the way that the people that are close to him in the game that would know more than the average fan would know treat him.
Right.
That gives you a clue as to at least who he is as a guy. He's a good guy to the media, and as far as they can tell, he's been clean. But all the clues, they're not there for some other athletes that, the Tim Kirkchens of the world have covered or the Buster Olneys have covered in the past.
Right.
You kind of get the context that maybe this guy isn't a great guy, but he's just a great ball player. Whereas with Pujols, the clues read differently. When Johnny Manziel's dad said if he doesn't get help, he's going to die, that's somebody who would know better than anybody on this planet, save for maybe Johnny's girlfriend who he got into trouble with, and certainly that's ugly too. Jack Nicklaus is dialed in to the golfing world. If Jack wants to know what's going on, Jack knows the people to call, and they're going to pick up the phone, and they're going to answer Jack. So for him to say that he needs help tells me that Jack has asked around, and the responses he's getting are troubling responses. He wouldn't flippantly make that comment that Tiger needs help.
Well, yeah, and he said it as a concerned friend and or just decent human being who's not going to sit there and allow for people to kind of cash in and keep a narrative running. I mean, listen, Tiger's made enough mistakes. We all have. This is judgment-free. What I'm talking about is this specific incident where we found out that it had nothing to do with a night out on the town and a few drinks. This had to do with a guy who's had 4 back surgeries and told the world that he's never felt better, and a week later he's asleep on the side of the road with a prescription pain medication, 4 different ones in his car. I mean, that's a problem. Now, I don't know if he's got a problem or not. I can't know that. So let's hope he doesn't. Let's hope it really was what he says it is. That'd be great because nobody wants to see that. Nobody's rooting for that. I hope that's true. I guess the overriding point was that when we read that, I didn't think that was necessarily a good thing. I didn't say, I heard a lot of people go, oh, well, that can happen. It can. I didn't necessarily assume that was the way to look at it. I thought, oh, no. Maybe my man here has got some real issues. These are the things that kill people.
Again, I don't think Jack has crossed over the threshold where he's going to start saying stupid stuff just yet.
No,
he's young enough,
sharp,
limber enough, and he's sharp enough, and he can be ruthless in some ways. But, if he's going to say that tells me that he's got more context than we do. That's where I'm going to err on. And I hope that Jack actually just said something stupid and that Tiger did something ignorant or he didn't
Yeah, it's a
realize what was
one-off.
going on.
It's
It's
a
a
one-off,
one-off.
yeah.
But for Jack to take it to that level, he could have said no comment. He could have said, well, that's just silly. Tiger needs to be better. Versus, I'm deeply concerned he needs a friend, and I'm going to be a friend in the circumstance. I mean, come on, man. That's a serious thought.
I appreciate that he did it, though, and it shows humanity at a lot of times where there's a loss of that in a situation like this. And I do get the sense that for whatever reason over the years, and maybe it's shared greatness, maybe it's only something that they can know or those that have been truly elite in any field can understand, but over the years, he has always been fond of Tiger. It seems both as a public figure, but even privately, when you see those two interact, that looks genuine. Like he had no problem for years saying that he thought Tiger would break his record, and he was fine with it. And, I'm sure deep down as a competitor, he's like, But, he seemed to be fine. For whatever reason, again, maybe it's that shared greatness. It's a unique perspective that only very few people ever have. But when he said that, I thought, that sounds like he is genuinely concerned, cares that this guy's got an issue, and isn't going to be part of the piling on process. This was a twofold segment in that I wanted to at least acknowledge that event that happened. We didn't have a chance to talk about it yesterday. And two, just to doff the cap to Jack, man. In that storm and that sea of, whatever you want to call that, the titillating press trying to capitalize on a situation, somebody else's misfortune or whatever you want to call that, he's standing above the fray going, no, I don't really want to talk about this, but I will say this. He's been great for the game, and he's a friend, and I'm going to be there for him. That's fantastic. Probables, fire it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Laid back. Sound system, it's all right. You're okay.
It's on delay, apparently.
It wasn't that delayed. We're okay. A's, Indians, Sean Manaea. Mr. Clevenger gets the start tonight for Cleveland.
All righty.
Let's go, Mike. Yanks, Orioles, Masahiro Tanaka, Kevin Guzman. We've got Brewers, Mets, Guerrero, Jacob deGrom.
All right, let's go, deGrom.
Rays, Rangers, Chris Archer, Austin Bibbins Dirks. Newbie, his first major league start in a unique name.
I feel like you should have said summa cum laude.
Red Sox, White Sox, Drew Pomeranz, Pelfrey, and a bunch of socks. Tigers, Royals, Matthew Boyd, Ian Kennedy. Dodgers, Cardinals. Ryu going for the Dodgers. Carlos Martinez going for the Cards. We got Braves, Angels. That is unfortunately a troutless Angels team that now 6 to 8 weeks without Mike Trout will hurt your feelings.
They're going to hold on to that 600 home run thing.
Yeah, it's true. Pujols could get his 600th home run tonight. Jaime Garcia and Jesse Chavez. We got Rockies, Marlins. That'd be Rockies, Mariners, not Marlins at all. Same guy whose name I butchered last week. Have to go check that out. James Paxton goes for the Mariners. Nats, Giants, Max Scherzer and Matt Cain. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the...
The autumn wind and the winter winds, they have come and gone.
National League out-hitting the American League to this point in Major League Baseball is kind of a stunning statistic. Entering play today, the National League hitters, including pitchers, had a .739 on-base plus slugging percentage compared with .735 for the American League. Considering the NL's OPS includes 1,590 plate appearances by pitchers, that's staggering.
That's nuts.
125 ABs for American League pitchers. Only once in history has the National League out-hit the American League in a full season since the advent of the DH. But it is currently happening, and it's rather remarkable. You're seeing a couple of things here, but one of them has to do probably, and many think the simplest explanation has to be this: the pitching is better currently in the American League. Through Monday, AL hitters have significantly outperformed their NL counterparts in interleague play.
Well, I can tell you, I've seen a lot of bullpens in the National League, and most of them are
Better
awful.
Better than the Mets?
Yeah, but most of them are awful. I'm like, oh, God, this bullpen stinks too.
Yeah. Watson's been a little iffy for us.
But two things can't be true. I think they're all better than the Mets bullpen.
When you said, I've seen a lot of bullpens in the National League, and I can tell you this much, and I was about to say they're all better than the Mets.
I've seen a lot of bullpens.
Good job, Matthew. Good job, Thomas. And to those that called and or listened, I surely do appreciate it. You guys be well. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than NEECE Tire and Auto Service. NEECE has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. NEECE Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. NEECE Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your